Mabuhay Pilipinas, Kinito Henser po kasama si Brian Viloria mula sa Thomas Mack Center, Las Vegas. Ito na po ang inyong pinakahihintay, The Battle, Eric Morales versus Manny Pacquiao, Part 2. At bago ang lahat mga kaibigan, pag-usapan natin, Part 1. Brian, Morales beat Pacquiao, close decision, could have gone either way. Did he deserve to win?
I think Morales did enough for him to come out with the W in that match. I think he posed it on Manny a little bit more than he did. I think Manny's cut over his right eye kind of made him a little bit more reluctant in having him to come out forward and banging it out Morales.
But Brian, a lot of distractions before that fight as far as Manny was concerned. Had to go through a lot of adversity. What do you think?
I think the gym, everybody was coming to the gym asking for autographs. I believe this time around, Manny had a really great training session, a really great training camp. Nobody came in. He closed the gym from 1 to 3 and he had no distraction whatsoever. So there's no excuses this time around.
Mga kaibigan, napanood po ni Brian yung ensayo po ni Manny Pacquiao sa Wildcard Gym sa Los Angeles. Let's ask Brian now about his preparation. Yung training, Brian, of Manny Pacquiao, that has been the most outstanding training camp he has ever had, even better than when he prepared for Marco Antonio Barrera.
I was in both training camps for him, even his first fight with Eric Morales, and now his second fight. I think that Manny has been training, looks very superb in his technical skills. I think Manny and Freddie Bass have been working a lot and trying to stay off the ropes. I think he needs to stay in the center of the ring and banging it out with Morales. I don't think he should be stepping straight back. He needs to use his lateral movements a lot, use his speed and his remarkable foot forward.
Well, Brian, what about Morales? We've been talking about Pacquiao. He also had a very good training camp. He got his weight down to 130 pounds, got the weight on his first try. Meron siya bagong trainer, si Jose Luis Lopez. Bago din ang kanyang training camp. You think there were a lot of distractions on the part of Morales? His father also came out on record to say that he was unhappy that he was dismissed as his trainer.
I don't think Morales has any excuses this time around.
Okay.
I think his fight, he looks a lot better in shape. I think he came on weight, not like in Raheem fight where he came a little bit overweight. So I think Morales is ready for this fight. I think he's a lot more pushed to win this fight than he was with the Raheem fight.
Okay, pag-usapan naman natin, The Battle Part 2, Pacquiao versus Morales. What does Manny have to do to win? Is it going to be all-out pressure? Is he going to use his power?
I think he just not stay off the ropes. He needs to stay off the ropes. He needs to impose his will, try to push Morales back. I believe whoever pushes each other back in this fight will win this fight.
Now, Manny whispered, along with his trainer Freddie Roach, that he was going to attack the body and he was going to go for a late knockout. Do you think that's going to happen?
I hope so. I don't think he went to the body enough in the first meeting. He needs to come in and use a lot of his lateral movements. I think he's got a real good chance of him winning the fight if he just stays on his feet, stay on the toes, and not stay on the ropes and let Morales pick off his shots.
Narinig na po natin ang tinig ni Brian Viloria. Konting oras na lang, mapapanood po natin The Battle, Manny Pacquiao versus...
Round 1 scheduled for 8 super featherweight action. Your referee is Joe Cortez. Jim Rex Jaca from the Philippines. And you can bet there are tens of millions of people from the Philippines watching this fight card tonight. We welcome...
That foot before then. Came in here 2 weeks ahead of time.
And of course, Jim Rex Jaca is the southpaw. Very, very... But Jeronimo Hernandez, the veteran of 30 fights, has a reach advantage. In his corner is Tony Ayala Sr., whose son, Tony Ayala Jr., known as El Torito, was a top-rated contender in his heyday many years ago. Action in the first round. Jim Rex Jaca, the southpaw, leading off with the right hand, looking to cock, looking to unload that left hand.
Very nice uppercut from Jim Rex. Coming back with the right hand, another left.
Jim Rex exploding here with a barrage of punches. I don't see Hernandez fighting back, Brian. Oh, nice shot with the left hand. But Hernandez coming right back. Again, the explosive right hand of Jim Rex.
Oh, he's
nice
down. Left
he
hand
is
right
down.
over.
Again, the left hand. That's what we were talking about.
Flush
The left hand.
over.
Oh, this could be over. Hernandez gamely getting up.
Game fighter Hernandez.
Referee Joe Cortez.
Looking to see if he's okay. Said
Okay,
he's
let's
okay.
go. There's less than a minute to go. Jim Rex Jaca on the attack.
Putting it on him.
Hernandez trying to fight back. That might not be the right thing to do.
A nice right hook from Jim Rex. Once again, coming back with a little uppercut.
Hernandez is not retreating, he's fighting back. A very dangerous situation for him because he's inviting Jim Rex Haka to throw all he's got.
Exactly.
The three-time Philippine champion. Knocking down Geronimo Hernandez here in the first round, but looks like Hernandez might survive this assault. Oh, punches to the side of the body by
Nice
Haka.
left.
And he's down again! A left hand.
Beautiful
Jim Rex
left
Haka.
hand over again. I think Joe Cortez
it's
going
gonna
to
be
stop
over.
this fight.
It's over. Well, Brian, what about the body attack and then the shot to the face?
It was a
Jim Rex
beautiful,
Haka.
beautiful body attack.
A two-fisted attack. Jim Rex Haka, a three-time Philippine champion, once Oriental Super Bantamweight champion, and he now reigns as the Philippine Super Featherweight champion. What a victory for the boy from Siburan Negros Oriental.
Big victory for Jim Rex, saying hello to United States fans.
That's right, this is his American debut. He has fought only 3 times outside of the US, 3 times in Japan, has lost only once in a fight where he didn't make the weight in his Oriental title defense. But since then, Jim Rex Haka has looked super good.
Exploding on the scene.
That's right. His trainer, Eric Brown, you know him from the Wildcard Gym. Watch here. The punches
Beautiful
thrown.
left
Oh,
hook.
yes, the left hand.
Gonzalez just couldn't take it. Couldn't, just went right back down.
What about those
Beautiful
shots to the
body
body?
shots there. The left body shot would come back to the right. The left overhand again.
The youngest of 5 children. His real name, Jimwell Divino, but he took the name Jim Rex because Jim is the first syllable of his first
Ladies and
name,
gentlemen, this
Rex
bout comes to
is
an
the
end
first
with an
name of his
official
manager,
time
Rex
of 2
Wong
minutes,
Salute.
43 seconds of the very
Got
first
the first
round.
round.
Your winner, by way of knockout, Jim Rex Jaka.
And Jim Rex Haka, a spectacular first round knockout win over Geronimo Hernandez. The Mexican went down twice. Good side here for Philippine boxing in this card, Brian.
You could already feel the Filipino contingency coming into the to the arena. A lot of the fans out here supporting the Filipino fighters.
All right, a short
Short.
ending, a very, very short ending that time. Jim Rex Haka in an explosive US debut, scoring a spectacular first round knockout over Geronimo Hernandez, 31 years old, and Haka showing that he could be a world contender if he is not now a world contender, Brian.
It's very tough. He got to show it tonight. Beautiful left hooks to the body, to the top, which just put Geronimo Hernandez away.
Well, his province mates in Negros Oriental, very, very happy, I'm sure, with that victory. And no one happier than his Cebu manager, Rex Waki Salute, who accompanied Haka all the way to the U.S. You know, Haka had problems getting his U.S. visa, U.S. Embassy, of course, coming to the rescue and allowing him a chance to fight in the U.S. We want to thank the U.S. Embassy for that. And this opportunity given to Jim Rex Haka, he has certainly shone brightly.
I was really worried about him coming back from the Philippines, and to see him try to get adjusted to the climate out here in Las Vegas. But just tonight, it didn't seem like it had affected him a little bit.
Well, he was just full of confidence, a two-fisted assault. Geronimo Hernandez certainly not in the class of Jim Rex Haka. And that wraps up our first fight of this fight card at the Thomas Mack Center in Las Vegas. We'll be back for more action. Ito po si Quirito Henson, kasama si Brian Valoria, ringside from Las Vegas.
We now bring you the new Revicon Ion Power Cut.
Hernandez here in the first round, but looks like Hernandez might survive this assault. Oh, punches to the side of the body by
Nice
Haka,
left.
and he's down again. A left hand.
Beautiful
Jim Rex
left
Haka.
hand over
You
again.
have just seen the new Revicon Ion Power
is festooned in a beautiful gold shimmering outfit.
That is gorgeous. That is gorgeous.
Outfit makes quite the statement. Let's hope his boxing
Can live up to it.
Exactly.
You got to be a good boxer to wear that outfit. Anyway, we'll see what Zertucci brings tonight. Take a look at the weigh-in. Here is his opponent, Marcos Primera from Venezuela. There's the pose down. Primera's a little bit taller, you can see. We'll take a look at the tail of the tape. Zertucci's 32 years old. Primera's 33. And you see the height advantage for Primera, and also a reach advantage, which can make a difference. But Zertucci is a hard banger on the inside. He'll try to cut down some of that height with his fists. Unified rules, 3 judges, 10-point system, no standing 8 count. 3-down knockdown rule is not in effect. You cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. And if there's an accident or foul, they'll go to the scorecards after round 4. After round 4, it's an official fight. We don't want to see that, though. For now, for the announcements. Well, we're holding up just a little bit. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wynn Las Vegas welcomes you to an evening of world-class professional boxing for your entertainment. Brought to you by Top Rank Incorporated and sponsored by the undisputed champion, the king of beers, Budweiser. All bouts sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Chairman Skip Avancino Jr., Commissioners Dr. Tony Alamo, John Bailey, Joe W. Brown, T.J. Day, Executive Director Mark Ratner. Physicians in attendance at ringside are Dr. Al Capana, Dr. David Watson, Dr. William Berliner, and Dr. Jeff Davidson. Counting for the knockdown seconds, the timekeepers are Jim Cavan and Mike Lichella. At ringside, scoring this first bout will be the 3 judges Bert Clements, Bill Graham, and C.J. Ross. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge is Vic Draculich. And now, by way of Wynn Las Vegas, let's get this party started. 10 rounds of boxing in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue with white, official weight 160 pounds, professional record 19 victories, including 12 knockouts, 12 defeats with 2 draws, originally from Cabello, Venezuela, now living and fighting out of Asheboro, North Carolina, he is Marcos Primera. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gold with blue, official weight 159 pounds. Professional record 17 victories, including 13 knockouts, 2 defeats with 2 draws. He comes to us from León, Guanajuato, Mexico. Here is Jose Luis Zertucci.
Fighters, chief second only. All right, gentlemen, this fight is scheduled for 10 rounds. You received your instructions in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution you. Any punch below this point will be called low. Golpes de bajo, te veas de punto, ser llamado bajo. With that said, I want you to obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Obedezcan mis comandos y protegerse a sí mismo siempre. With that, good luck to both of you. Buena suerte a ambos.
Those were your final instructions from Vic Draculich, who will be in the ring tonight. Now, Marcos Primera is in the ring to give this young man a test, but Primera hasn't had a lot of luck lately. He's only won 3 of his last 11 fights.
And he looks a little bit soft to me as I watched him get introduced there and come out to ring center. Primera, as we mentioned, a veteran. He's got a big height advantage. He's got a big reach advantage, but his body doesn't look to be cut nor in prime shape.
And not exactly fired up for this fight. And Zertucci, 13 of his 17 fights ending in a knockout, so obviously heavy-handed.
Scheduled for 10 rounds, middleweight action. Zertucci in the shimmering shorts. Primera, just your basic blue with a white stripe. And as for full disclosure, should mention that Primera's in there as cannon fodder for this up-and-comer. And we'll see what kind of challenge he can give Zertucci.
Starting out at a very relaxed pace.
His body language, like Rich was saying, looked very, very nonplussed going into the ring.
I should mention, though, that in defense of Primera a little bit, is the fact that he was really the third opponent here in this fight, because Kelly Pavlik was supposed to fight, and then it looked like Anthony Thompson was going to be the opponent, but Thompson said no, that felt he was kind of being used and getting a last-minute deal. So Primera's had basically a week or less to even know about the fight.
Last-minute fill-in, okay. Seems that Zertucci is aware of that and not really applying too much pressure at the moment.
I had hoped to see Pavlik tonight.
Me too.
He's exciting, and he's moving on up.
The Ghost, Kelly Pavlik, out of Ohio. Shame he's not on the card.
It's quite a tattoo Zertucci has on his back. Any idea what that is, gentlemen?
He's got one on his head, too.
But the back, it seems to it looks like a haunted house or something.
Well, the tattoo on the head, you have to shave your head so it can be seen. Crowd wanting a little more action here. We're going to have an equally divided house, as we mentioned. A lot of Mexican contingent here. A lot of Filipinos here to see Pacquiao. Applying some pressure now, Zertucci. Primera backing up. Primera holding his hands way low.
Trying to use this old guile, veteran wisdom in there. He's still got a good jab, Primera. He started off looking very slow. I thought, my gosh, he's slowed down, but now he's picked it up.
Yeah, he's showing signs of life.
You get hit a couple of times, it'll wake you up.
Actually helps you relax a little too once you have been hit.
Oh, left hooks hammering away.
He's blocking most of those shots, though, Alan. He's got his right arm up very high. He's catching a lot of those left hooks by Zertucci right on his glove.
Well, you can tell he's savvy. Final seconds, round one, scheduled for 10. He's flicking a nice jab out there, is Primera.
Primera doing a nice job second half of this round.
We had one low blow in that round. Well, the crowd not happy with Zertucci.
I think that's what he needs to do, Primera. He showed a good jab, and he showed that even at 33, he still can circle pretty good.
We'll see if he sticks to the game plan.
Round two from the Thomas Mack Center on the campus of University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Mario, I was wondering, as a veteran talk show host yourself, what you think of Miguel Diaz's ability to talk?
Yeah, I know Miguel, so I might be biased, but I just think he's doing a fine job.
He can talk a blue stream, man.
I love that guy.
He's exciting.
Well, he's kind of laying, Primera's just kind of laying that jab out there, like they said, but he's got to come back with something behind it. Big punches from Zertucci don't find the mark.
And they asked him to find his range and then stick a hard jab and follow it up with the right. Primera finding difficulty executing that.
Well, the problem is he's getting hit. Zertucci's trying to do something spectacular, just having trouble finding the veteran.
He's got to deal with that reach.
Yep.
And with a guy who's using the reach to keep himself away.
You may not win any rounds that way, but you'll survive. Got a crowd. I hope Zertucci doesn't listen too much. His feelings might get hurt.
It's a tough crowd here tonight.
It is a W. They came here to see, warriors, which they're going to get in about an hour.
Well, both the Philippines and Mexico, obviously huge fans of the rooster fighting.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise known as the cockfighting, and non-stop action, obviously.
Those things don't last very long, though, do they?
They don't, but they're intense while they're there.
They're a little too long for me.
Yeah.
I think I prefer humans.
Double jab from Primera. Zertucci having trouble finding him because he's not staying in one place very long.
Primera actually was a little more effective in the first round than he was in this round. He looks more in this round to be just taking on the role of a spoiler. And I hope that's not how he intends to fight.
I hope so too, because he looks like he's just not trying to lose as opposed to trying to win.
He just got hit with a right hand. I remember some of those Julio Cesar Chavez fights when people tried to stay away from him. He just kept cutting off the ring and cutting off the ring and working his way in.
You're exactly right. He cut it off, and he was very savvy getting inside, and once he was in there, he stayed there.
Good right hand from Zertucci.
Eric Morales.
There comes El Terrible, and they're showing him up on the screen. He's getting booed by half the crowd, and what a great warrior he's been, and that's the best way to describe him. He's taken on all comers in his career.
Sure, first ballot Hall of Famer, the first year he's eligible.
No doubt about it.
And for his generation, I'd have to say to take on everyone in high-caliber fighters, elite fighters, one right after another.
Yep.
It's like from hard fight to hard fight.
That's how he likes it. And he's been written off by many about 3 times, I think.
Yeah, because of that, right.
He's a real credit to the sport. Can't say enough nice things about him and what he's accomplished and the thrills he's given us. We get our money's worth out of him every time.
And a good guy out of the ring.
Okay, here we go, round 3, scheduled for 10. Zertucci's challenge is to catch up and find Primera somehow, cut off the ring. Primera's in the blue trunks. All right, Draculich is going to talk to Primera about something.
But you mentioned the cutting off of the ring, and while they're taking care of this Vaseline on his shoulder, Zertucci was not doing a good job of cutting off the ring in the last round. He was following Primera around, and Primera's moving around and moving to his left, and Zertucci was just following him.
I'd like to see Zertucci busy in the inside.
Primera's just standing there in front of him. That's a switch all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, he's just standing there getting hit.
Now what's Primera doing here all of a sudden?
I don't know, but he's covering up very well.
He's getting aggressive. He's hiding now behind his shoulder.
Primera looks to be in pure survival mode at the moment. I don't know if he's playing possum and plans to unleash in the later rounds, but
well, he's certainly giving. He might just be giving Zertucci a completely different look, and that might be his intention.
Zertucci goes downstairs. Just flailing away, while Primera has turned it into a human heavy bag.
Stop!
And that's how Zertucci needs to fight.
Yeah, but Primera's cooperating with him, Mario, with exactly what he wants. He wants a target right in front of him.
They're going there. Let's hold him.
He doesn't have to worry about cutting off the ring this way.
Wildly missing on a couple of punches there is Zertucci.
Now he's pawing with the jab.
Round 3 schedule of 10, and it's been a very odd approach here for Primera.
Complete change of strategy.
Clearly abandoning his trainer's game plan. He's sticking that elbow in his chest. He needs to answer with combinations, Primera does.
He just joined us. Jose Luis Zertucci is in the gold trunks. Primera is from Venezuela. The third fighter that we thought was going to take on Zertucci. After a couple of others fell by the wayside, Primera showed up.
Primera's just going to suffer a beatdown fighting in this fashion unless he starts doing something.
And you figure you come all the way from Venezuela, you got to let your hands go.
He tried to throw a semi-uppercut. I don't understand.
The one punches at a time are not going to do it.
He's thrown that right to the body with some power behind it. Well, there was a definite switch in strategy, a dramatic switch in strategy by Primera in that third round, so I'm anxious to kind of see how he approaches it now in this round.
And I'm wondering why he abandoned the strategy, because he was having somewhat success the second half of the first round.
I thought it wasn't a bad strategy that he was using. I thought it was proper against Zertucci. He just needed to be busier than he was, I thought.
Round 4 scheduled for 10. And Primera's in the blue trunks. Zertucci's in the really shimmery, shiny, gorgeous gold trunks.
You like those, Alan?
Oh, just, you know, if I was a fashion expert, I tell you what.
You got to give him a thumbs up.
If this continues in this fashion, at least the crowd will really appreciate what they're going to see later on. See, they're just setting them up for it. When the Rooster gets in the ring and the El Terrible and the Pac-Man and all those guys.
Oh, it'll be a rock concert in here.
It will be. They'll lift the lid off the Thomas Mack Center. Tucci powering away like he did in round 3, and Primera might try to throw something downstairs like he did in round 3.
Well, again, in this round, he's using the round 3 strategy of not moving, standing in front. Now, I'll say this for Primera. He does a great job in blocking punches, especially punches to the face. He really knows how to pick punches off.
Tucci.
Primera was having a little success with the sneaky uppercut he was throwing. He would have followed up with a left hook. Maybe. He would score some points. I'm still trying to figure out the strategy.
I've never seen anything like it.
Go home. Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, I could buy into the rope-a-dope if I actually thought he was going to come out firing sooner or later.
But with the rope-a-dope, you do lean against the ropes and you do rest that way.
Yes, that's true. Now he's going to the jab.
When you're out in the middle of the ring just doing that, it's not doing you any good.
When Primera is jabbing, he's pawing with the jab and he's not sticking it out. Uh-oh, there's the uppercut.
A nice shot to the stomach.
That seems to be the punch that Primera now is really relying on, right? Uppercut to the body.
And he just threw a right hand that landed flush on the face. Not much behind it, but it did land.
Zertucci's still trying to figure out exactly what to do. I mean, he can keep throwing punches, but how effective?
Right, Primera does block a lot of punches to the face, but those ones to the side of the body are bound to just break him down.
Oh, they're definitely taking their toll.
That's where I think he should go. Zertucci just pound away at the ribs. That's all he's getting, so. Final seconds of this round.
Miguel wants him, of course, to keep working on the body. St. Primera doesn't like it down there.
Nobody does.
Move the Vaseline out. Hey. Move the Vaseline.
Heading into the 5th round.
Hey, let's go.
Scheduled for 10. Middleweight action here in Las Vegas. Let's see if Zertucci starts working on the ribs a little bit. Primera measuring with the left as he's done most of the time when he's not covering up.
Well, Primera's corner wants him to mount some sort of an offense when they're in the inside. I thought he was being a little effective when he let go of his right hand. Clearly abandoned that.
Zertucci finding it very hard, believe it or not, to land clean shots on Primera.
Well, Primera's corner was pretty honest. Down 4 rounds to love.
Well, he's being out-hustled because Zertucci is still throwing a ton of punches. I mean, he's throwing a very high volume of punches. And some of them are landing on the side, some are landing on the arm, some of them are glancing off the head. Those all end up in the end winning him the rounds.
But you're right, Rich. They aren't very telling, powerful blows because he is at a weird angle. He's giving him weird angles, Primera is. And there's a right hand that lands on top of the head.
Come on. Watch those punches.
Sort of that semi-bolo uppercut right hand has been about the most effective thing Primera's managed.
I know much of the crowd's not appreciating it, but I do appreciate a guy who can block punches and who can do things defensively, but you've got to do something on your own as well to score.
He's got a tough shot to the ribs. I just wish Zertucci just take that right hand and just hook him right in the ribs.
Primera not letting his hands go, and he is, Rich. He's doing a great job defensively. I think those, obviously the shots to the rib are telling, but he has opportunities, hard shots really. He has opportunities to let go of his right hand. Oh, and there's a miss. But that's what he needs to do if he wants to stay in this fight.
I'm not sure he wants to. He's great at picking up punches. I'm going to give him that much.
Yeah, he was amazing that way, really, Primera. But those rights to the body are really breaking him down, I think.
That's where I'd go if I was Zertucci. Because the more you hit him in the gloves, that's the result you're going to get.
A nice right by Primera.
There's the Pac-Man. And the crowd goes nuts seeing it on the big screen here.
He's always got that big smile.
Oh, he's the greatest. He works out at your gym, right?
That's right, he's my fellow stablemate. I got to tell you, he had a great camp. Very focused.
A lot quieter camp than he had a year ago.
Minus,
the first fight.
You're right, Rich, and minus distractions, of course, with the promoter and hotel rooms, little things, but at the end of the day, not so little. Allows a fighter to be as 100% prepared.
At least they'll be entertained watching Manny. Because Primera didn't come here to put on a show tonight, I can tell you that.
Zertucci trying to make a fight out of it, doing his part.
All right, let's see what happens here. Round 6. Zertucci's in the gold trunks, Primera in the blue trunks. It's 5 rounds to nothing to the guy in the shimmering gold. And no, I haven't figured out that tattoo yet, Mario. I'll have to get a good look at that later on.
And Primera looks like he wants to fight in this round now.
He's down enough to get it going, I guess.
Now he's being very aggressive. Plus he's pushing Zertucci away and then trying to throw his punches from a little longer range.
I'll tell you what, though, those right hooks to the body leaving huge welts and has to be taking their toll.
That's going to hurt.
Not just the back, but the shoulder as well. The full right side. Nice combination by Primera.
Now he's moving away again.
Primera showed a little sign of life in the early round.
Zertucci in hot pursuit. As I mentioned, Zertucci, strong amateur, started boxing at 18, had 168 amateur fights, and made it to the second round of the Olympics in Sydney. Kind of unusual for Mexican fighters to compete in the Olympics. They usually turn pro very early.
Yes, the Mexican Olympic program is not particularly strong. But eventually, occasionally we do see really good fighters come out of the Olympic program. And Vic Draculich here is going to tell these guys to fight.
Okay, back it up. Fuck!
He's going to tell them to mix it up a little. Martin Castillo, though, is a guy who came out of the Mexican Olympic program that we'll see later on tonight, who's become an extremely successful pro.
Manchito Bojado, who was, I don't know, he's a talented boxer, also a former
I can't figure out Panchito.
But I don't know what the deal is with him.
He's disappeared.
I really attached the label of can't miss to Panchito Bojado, and I was never more wrong about a can't miss guy that I thought was in that category.
A lot of people felt that same way, though.
Meanwhile, back to the fight. Not much has changed.
Other than Zertucci now landing big blows upstairs.
He got one in a little while ago. It was pretty solid. That right side, left side, Primera is just beat red right now.
The beating is now moved upstairs as well as downstairs.
I sat next to calling a fight one night, Johnny Tapia. Miguel Diaz was in his corner, and he sat right next to me. And it was a horrifying experience to try to call that fight with Miguel screaming right in my ear from start to finish for 12 rounds.
Oh, you weren't distracted there.
Well, he says just throw that straight right, finish him off with the left hook. We'll see. I often wonder how much information actually goes through in the corner between rounds.
Mario pointed something out last round that I think is true, is that some of those shots now that were not landing to the head are beginning to get through to Primera now.
The bodywork now taking its toll. The hands seem to be a little lower on Primera.
Primera has not thrown very many hard punches this entire night.
He's back to his first 2-round strategy right now.
Okay.
All of a sudden he's jabbing and he's moving around the ring, staying in long range.
Maybe he felt that he doesn't like getting hit down.
I thought that was the better strategy for him in the fight, what he was doing in the first couple of rounds.
That best strategy might be for his corner to throw a towel out there. That might be the best strategy. 7th round.
Nice uppercut. You know, just when you think Primera is showing signs of mounting an offensive attack, lands an occasional uppercut, right hand, resorts back to his backpedaling.
Miguel's right. It's a straight right hand. Zertucci keeps going. That's not bad to go downstairs, but that's good. But it's the straight right hand. It's there. Right there. Like he missed there.
You know, though, as I watch Primera, I see a lot of good things in him, ability-wise, that make you wonder, you know, now he's 19 and 12 and 2 and been around for a while, 33, that he'd been handled differently, maybe had a different set of training circumstances, has approached his career in a different manner, you know, it might have turned out differently for him.
There's a whole community of fighters like that. You're right, Rich.
He's got some skills, especially on the defensive end, and he's savvy, you know that. But he has won only 3 times in his last 11 fights. And unless he does something dramatic, he won't win this one either.
I don't know if Primera has the power to hurt Zertucci, much less stop him.
We sure hadn't shown it.
There was one round where he landed 3 or 4 just ripping right uppercuts to the body out of nowhere. He discovered that punch and used it time after time, and it worked. But that was that one round.
And that was it. Then he abandoned it. When he had any sort of success with any of the combinations he's throwing, he abandoned it.
We are mercifully down to the final seconds of round 7. Place will be filling up shortly. Round 8. Middleweight action. Jose Luis Zertucci, a pro for about 4.5 years, considered a rising contender at middleweight against a very awkward opponent tonight in terms of style and just figuring out what he's trying to do. Marcos Primera.
And Zertucci, not to discredit him at all. I mean, he's stuck to his game plan. He's worked the body great. Primera's one of those crafty veterans that's hard to look good against.
Right, that puts him into the spoiler category. And when you're in a situation like Zertucci, if you don't stick to your game plan, then you play into that spoiler's hands. And you begin to get reckless and wild, and you become awkward, and you become a worse-looking fighter in there. So Zertucci's kind of kept himself under control, I think, here, and done an effective job, methodical as it might have been, of winning this fight.
Missing with the right hand. I think Zertucci figured out a long time ago in this fight what he was in for, and he's staying with it, as Rich said.
Watch it, kidney. Watch it.
Primera's starting to look like a red side of beef, the whole right side of his body, from his arm, his shoulder. Reminds me of Rocky 1 when he was hitting in the meat locker.
Primera might have been thinking earlier, you know, I'll get him later on in the fight. But when you do that, you always take the risk of yourself getting beat down, which is what I think happened. And so when it comes to the later part of the fight, you don't have the strength anymore. You don't have the zip.
Not after taking a body attack like that.
And the other end of it, in the business of boxing, he doesn't give himself much of a chance to earn a lot of paydays and get put on fight cards if he doesn't put on a better show. If you go out and get skunked every round, which I think is going to happen.
No, you're right, Alex. A lot of times, even though you're not victorious, you put on a great show, you showed a lot of heart, you fought a tough fight, you can still win.
It's like Hussein when he fought Jorge Arce. He did such a great job in defeat. He found himself back in the ring again in a rematch for bigger money.
Or many times in Arturo Gotti's career when he suffered his losses.
Big right over the top. For the first time in a long time, Primera looked like he was actually hurt there. I know he's got to be hurt, period. With all this,
Watch the kidney.
well, that's what he's giving him, though, Vic. He's turning around. That's why he hit him in the kidney. He's turned around at that odd angle.
Second down.
Gracious with the public.
Watch the water, guys.
All right, as soon as they get the doctor out of the ring, we'll get going round 9. That was a good idea to go up and check out and see what was going on with Primera, because he's going to have a broken up body tonight.
Oh, he's going to sleep well tonight.
Yeah, tomorrow he's going to be a little stiff.
Well, I was a little worried about what his trainer said to him, which was, I know you've got 3 punches left in you. Well, you know, there's 6 minutes left in the fight. That's 1 punch every 2 minutes.
Well, that's what he's been averaging.
Now he's really working that jab, fellas. Look at him.
This for the last 5 rounds.
Look at that.
See if he lets that uppercut go again.
Zertucci did.
Yeah, oh, he wound up with it. He wanted to let it go.
He had it cocked and ready.
There it is.
There it is. Fight, Primera.
Keep him up.
Might as well. You came all this way as the third alternate. I guess that's what we could call him. Hey, to his credit, he showed up, didn't he?
Yes, he did. You got
A couple other guys didn't.
The right hand's letting go a little bit. Problem is, when it lands, it seems to awaken Zertucci.
All those punches landed right on the glove.
Yeah.
Solid. Those gloves are going to have to be thrown away because all the stuffing's been knocked out of them. Look at this.
That's the combination.
Look at this. What in the world happened here? Primera's coming on.
Oh, he realized there's a fight going on.
Yeah.
I should participate.
That was a nice little 10 seconds there.
Did what his trainer asked. Uppercut followed by hooks.
He has some skills. He really does.
Primera has a chance to win this round.
Could he have fooled us all in his strategy?
Watch the kidney. Watch those punches. Keep him in front. Keep him up front.
April's not here yet. I don't think we're going to.
Wishful thinking. Beautiful uppercut to the body.
Well, Murata's been calling for him.
I feel that right hook that Zertucci's throwing all the way over here.
Primera throwing the uppercut. 10 seconds left. And then we'll have 3 minutes left. He threw way more than 3 punches there, Rick.
Glad to see it.
His trainer only wanted 3.
I thought this was his best round. decide to stand there and get beat up for 3 rounds.
Final round. Let's just see if
The crowd let out a big cheer that final round might be over.
they're cheering the final round so they can get on with other things. Oh my goodness. 10th and final round. Zertucci looking to win his 18th of his career. Zertucci's last loss was back in 04 in June in Phoenix. He lost a 10-round unanimous decision versus Danny Perez.
And again, Zertucci, having 13 of his 17 fights end by knockout, unleashed some heavy blows to the body, so you got to give it to Primera. Tough customer hanging in there.
Then a couple months later in Phoenix, Primera fought Danny Perez to a split decision, but it was a loss.
Well, I could see how Primera could be just good enough to lose close decisions.
Exactly. And when you lose a lot, as often said in sports, you get that mentality, you're more willing to accept it.
The life of a journeyman.
Yep. Left hand got in there.
Good left hand by Zertucci.
Yeah, Primera didn't block that one. That was his best punch of the fight.
Zertucci trying to close the show here.
There's a bunch of people who'd like to see him do it.
Beautiful left hook by Zertucci.
Tucci been frustrated a lot tonight. Maybe he's learned something about when you fight somebody.
There we go. That time, yeah. That's a knockdown. That should be counted a knockdown by Vic Dracula.
And I was just about to say Zertucci still has a lot of pop left in his punches.
7, 8. How do you feel? Talk to me. Talk to me. Okay. Go.
It feels like he wants this last 18 seconds to go fast. Well, he finally beat him down, guys. After 10 rounds, he finally just beat him down.
Zertucci thought that was the bell.
Fortunately for Primera.
The 10-second warning.
That's the bell.
Primera, tough customer. Unfortunately, outclassed tonight.
Saludos por el máximo Zertucci.
There's a guy who got beaten down, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. Bert Clements and C.J. Ross both score at 100-89. Bill Graham scores at 100-88. All to the winner by unanimous decision, Zertucci.
Got a 10-8 round, and otherwise, well, Primera just didn't even show up in the scoring, period.
I thought you could have made a case for Primera winning the 9th round, but that was it.
Didn't happen.
Balik po tayo sa Thomas Mack Center sa Las Vegas. At yan po, napapanood po natin sa inyong mga TV screens and the giant theater screens over at SM and Rockwell all over the Philippines, si Alexander Munoz. Siya po yung dating WBA Super Flyweight Champion. And this is actually the junior bantamweight division with a weight limit of 115 pounds. Munoz lost his title to Martin Castillo back in 2004 on a unanimous decision. And mga kaibigan, that has been the only loss in Muñoz's record. He's called El Explosivo from Bolivar, Venezuela, and he wants revenge tonight.
He's looking for blood tonight against Martin Castillo. Also with 29 wins, 1 loss and 16 knockouts to his professional record.
Brian, with the time difference, gabi po dito sa Las Vegas, pero umaga po sa atin sa Manila. It is Saturday night here, but it is Sunday morning in the Philippines. Martin Castillo is now making his way to the ring. Castillo is known as the Rooster, El Gallo. He's 29 years old. Muñoz is 26. Muñoz has a 2-inch reach advantage and also a 1-inch height advantage, but Castillo said, never mind the advantage. Castillo beat him the first time out, and he took away his WBA championship. Since then, Muñoz has scored 3 wins in a row to earn this crack at a rematch.
He fought Alexander Munoz back in December of 2004, putting Alexander Munoz down twice in that fight for the WBA super flyweight title. Like I said, Alexander Munoz wanting revenge in this fight.
Well, especially since that was the only stain, the only blemish sa record po ni El Explosivo from Venezuela. Let's listen now to Michael Buffer.
In Las Vegas, Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present the co-featured bout of the evening, sponsored by your undisputed king of beers, Budweiser, and sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, along with the World Boxing Association. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this bout will be Glenn Feldman, Dick Howe, and Dolby Shirley. And when the bell rings, the man inside the ring, your referee working for the 172nd time as a referee in a world title bout for Richard Steele. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Super Flyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red with black, official weight 115 pounds. His professional record, 28 victories, including 26 knockouts, with only 1 defeat. From San Felix, Venezuela, here is the #1 ranked challenger in the world, former super flyweight world champion, Alexander El Explosivo fighting out of the red corner, wearing burgundy, official weight 114.5 pounds. His professional record, 29 victories, including 16 knockouts, also with only 1 defeat. Damas y caballeros de Ciudad de Mexico, the reigning, defending WBA Super Flyweight Champion of the World, Martin El Gallito Castillo.
And there you have it. Both fighters have been introduced. This promises to be a terrific matchup. Si Martin Castillo po, back in 2004, meron po siyang tinalong Pilipino. Ang pangalan po niya is si Roger Galicia. That fight was held in Kansas City, and he won a 12-round unanimous decision. Yan po si Martin Castillo. See him on your screens. Third man in the ring is Richard Steele. The only loss in Castillo's record, a technical decision setback to Felix Machado in an IBF light flyweight championship fight back in 2002. Muñoz, 25 straight wins as a pro since turning pro back in 1998, 24 of them by knockout. So Muñoz has earned the nickname El Explosivo. He won the WBA championship over Celes Kobayashi in Japan. Here we go! Muñoz versus Castillo. Castillo is with the shimmering trimmings down the side in his red trunks, burgundy trunks, and Muñoz in the lighter red trunks.
Beautiful left hook from Castillo.
They're not waiting.
They're not waiting. They just want to go to war and get this fight over with.
That's right. Well, they know each other. There's no feeling out any longer because this is a rematch. First time out, tinalo po ni Castillo see Munoz by unanimous decision in a fight where Munoz went down twice. Castillo wants to repeat, and Munoz wants revenge. Oh, nice shot there by Munoz. Munoz is coming off a first-round knockout win over Adolfo Ramos, while the last 3 fights of Castillo have all gone the distance. You wonder, has Castillo lost his knockout sock? Look at Munoz, he's coming in. Oh,
Munoz gets down Castillo.
The defending champion is down.
Castillo is shaking no, saying no, it's just a fluke.
Alexander Munoz, El Explosivo, exploding here in the first round.
He is surely not waiting in this first round here, Canito.
Nice shots left and right.
Pushing Martin back on the ropes with his combinations, putting Martin to the ground.
Both fighters are orthodox fighters. And now Castillo looks like he's working the jab now and moving away from Alexander Munoz, using a little bit of lateral movement here. He has tasted the power of Munoz. Munoz is in hot pursuit. A counter there coming from Castillo, but Munoz is all aggression here in the first round.
He used a series of punches that landed pretty clean while Castillo was on the ropes.
Brian, what about Castillo's defense? He looked pretty good. I mean, in this last sequence, the way he moved his body left and right.
It looks as if every time he goes on the ropes, Munoz has the better end of it. Castillo needs to turn Munoz around and try to find ground in the center of the ring and see if he can fight in there.
Munoz is catching Castillo with the right hand. You see the left arm of Castillo dropping down, and Munoz is hitting him with the right. Here's Castillo trying to fight back with some shots to the side of the body. This is as good as it can get. Can you imagine these fighters are fighting in the super flyweight division, 115-pound limit, and they're giving it their all.
10 seconds left in the first round, and already these two fighters are giving it all.
I can't believe this is going to go the distance. The way this fight is being played out. First round, bumagsak na po ang defending champion na si Martin Castillo. So Alexander Munoz, a roaring start in the first round of this scheduled 12-rounder for the WBA Super Flyweight of Instruction now from the trainer of Alexander Munoz. He's the boy from Venezuela. You watch the knockdown.
Here's the replay.
But he was just under fire. It was just too many punches. And Castillo going down, and he was shaking his head to say that he really wasn't hurt.
It looks as if he was out of balance there, Canito.
I think so too. I don't think he was really badly hurt.
But it was a punch that connected, that the referee saw, and that made it a knockdown.
And that'll be a 10-8 round for Alexander Munoz. We can expect more of that kind of action the rest of the way. Martin Castillo is defending his championship for the 4th time, and he won his title with an 8th round knockout over the Japanese Celes Kobayashi back in 2002. Then he made 3 successful defenses over Japanese challengers, all in Japan, and now this is his next defense.
Looks to me as if Castillo is already suffering a little swelling over the right eye right now from the barrages of punches from Munoz. Castillo trying to throw a jab to the body. Munoz stepped back, came back with a jab of his own.
Well, check that, Brian. I mentioned Munoz's record when he won the championship over Celes Kobayashi. Castillo won his championship over Munoz, as we said, and this is a rematch. Referee Richard Steele warning both fighters.
Not to hit in the back of the head.
Here we go, Castillo.
Munoz stepping around. Got a little bit of off balance there. Castillo is not on the ropes this time. Not like the first round where he was on top of the ropes while Munoz got the better of his combinations.
Well, Brian, you get the feeling that Castillo has better foot speed. Looks like he's a little quicker than Munoz. I think he needs that to get away from the long reach of Alexander Munoz.
I think Castillo feels like he's in a little bit of urgency right now from that first round knockdown.
That's right. But
So
Castillo is doing very well with that left jab. He's working it. He's doubling up on his jab. And there he goes on the attack. Now, whatever advantage Munoz had in the first round, you see it now dissipating here in the second round. Castillo is starting to work.
needs to throw his jab in more. See what he does with that. Like he did right there.
Both fighters now showing a lot of respect for each other. And I guess they also know that this is going 12 rounds, or this is scheduled for 12 rounds. So they need to pace themselves and not exhaust themselves with early flurries. There's Munoz again on the attack. Countering is Castillo. Castillo with a left jab.
Beautiful right hand counter over after Munoz threw his 1-2 combination.
Brian just got a text here from the Alorda family. The entire family is watching us from the SM South Mall Theaters. And of course, they're all wishing Manny Pacquiao the best of luck in his big fight coming up against Eric Morales. End of round number 2. Balik po tayo dito, live action coming from the Thomas Mack Center. Slow-mo replay of the sequence.
Munoz finishing strong with a nice right hand on Castillo.
Round number 3 po tayo. Incidentally, I'd like to make the announcement, Brian, that tayo po mga kaibigan, mga kababayan na nanonood sa SM outlets and the Rockwell Theaters, live po ang dating nitong feed sa inyo. Live po to, hindi po totoo yung kumakalat na balita na tapos na yung laban ni Manny Pacquiao at si Eric Morales. Hindi pa po ginaganap yon. That fight will happen after this one. We are coming to you live as it happens. Kanya po, huwag kayong maniwala na hindi po live ito at tapos na po yung laban ni Manny. Hindi po tama yon. Okay, back to live action here. Round number 3, Castillo versus Munoz. Munoz scoring that knockdown in the first round over the defending champion Martin Castillo. This is a revenge rematch. We did mention that 2 years ago, Martin wrested the WBA championship from Alexander Munoz, dealing the Venezuelan his first career setback.
I give Munoz the first 2 rounds, Canito. He looked as if he was in more control of the fight. The first round knockdown.
He's looking really sharp. But somehow I get the feeling that Munoz is slowing down the momentum that he started or that he had in the first round. I don't see that now here in this third round. He's playing it a little cautious and he's beginning to miss. Castillo is showing very good movement with his feet.
Still with a beautiful jab to stop Munoz in his tracks.
Now Castillo has to remind himself that he needs to be more aggressive. Right now he's fending off Munoz, keeping him at bay, throwing those jabs just to make sure that Munoz doesn't get distance inside him. But Castillo needs to be more aggressive, Brian.
Castillo does need to be a little bit more aggressive. He needs to show him that he is the world champion. Then Munoz, a beautiful right hand from Munoz. And land right on Castillo, stagged him a little bit. Now Castillo is on a retreat right now.
Oh, nice punches there.
Nice straight from Munoz.
That's right. Castillo hit him with the left. Munoz came back with a 3-punch combination. Munoz has Castillo where he wants him, against the ropes. Oh, nice shot there from Castillo. Right hand.
Beautiful shot there.
That jolted Munoz. Remember, Munoz went down twice in their first meeting.
And already in this fight, Castillo went down in the first round.
That's right. That was a good shot coming from Castillo. That sort of jolted Munoz. And Munoz is holding. Castillo has certainly caught the attention of Alexander Munoz with that single right-hand punch to the side of the face. We are in the third round, scheduled for 12. This is for the World Boxing Association Super Flyweight Championship. Weight limit 115 pounds. Shots there by Munoz.
Nice right hand.
The right hand. And again connecting with the right-left combination was Alexander Munoz. Munoz holding on.
He was pushing Castillo back against the rope again.
Richard
breaking
Steele.
the action up.
Munoz thinking that, or rather Castillo thinking that Munoz might be hurt. Castillo's moving in. And ended that round. That was action-packed. Another close round.
Very, very close right now.
Maybe Castillo might have done enough to win that round, do you think, Brian?
I think he did.
Ayan po si Martin Castillo in his corner taking a breather. You see the marks of battle on his face. Umpisa na po on round number 4. Castillo down in round number 1. But he sort of broke out of his shell in the third round, although it was still a close round. Very tough to call. Here's Castillo. Now on the attack. Looks like he's gained in confidence, Brian.
Castillo is now pushing Munoz back. That's what he needs to do in this fight. He needs to push Munoz back. He can't be laying on the ropes, letting Munoz dictate the fight.
Nice jab coming from Munoz once more. Munoz is really taking advantage of his longer reach. 2-inch reach advantage. Here's Munoz. Again, he has Castillo where he wants him. Castillo moving away from harm's way. Tama yung ginawa niya. But siya magpapatrap doon against the ropes. Munoz is a very explosive fighter, and that's why he's called Explosivo from Venezuela. 26 years old. What an amazing record he has racked up. 28 wins, only 1 loss. That loss to Castillo on points with 26 knockouts. Castillo 29-1. The only loss in an IBF championship match to Felix Machado. A technical decision, 60 knockouts. So his knockout rate lower than Alexander Munoz's knockout rate.
He still likes going down to the body with that left jab. See what he will do. Needs to come back with that right hand over the top. Munoz's hands is pretty far down. Got his left hand down. He's susceptible to a right hand.
That's right, Brian, but that time, both fighters exploding bombs. Castillo looks like he's moving in. He wants to engage. Well, that might be a strategy as well, Brian. He wants to keep this fight at close quarters to negate the advantage of reach that Munoz has. Here we go once more.
Throw his jab out there a little bit more.
But you see that he's moving in, he's charging in. Munoz is not stepping back. And that's why this is developing into a war.
Both fighters in the center of the ring can feel each other out.
And there we go once more. Munoz looking a little tired.
30 seconds left in the round. Both fighters imposing have their own moments.
Right. We're only in the 4th round. But Munoz looks like that. But Castillo looks a little fresher at this stage. Munoz missing his punches now. Castillo making him miss. The defending champion from Mexico is Martin Castillo. Alexander Munoz, the former champion, the challenger now.
It's down to the 4th round.
Okay, we can hear the trainer of El Explosivo saying that he needs him to counter because they're noticing that Castillo is moving in. So he wants him to keep his hands high and to counter and to stop Castillo as he comes in. And part of the media section here at Thomas Mack Center. And Brian, we've got a lot of Filipino writers with us. Of course, Aba Cordero of the Philippine Star is here. Nick Yonko of the Bulletin, Reca Trinidad of the Inquirer, Ermi Rivera, who is also writing for the Inquirer, is here. Salven Lagumbay from Sunstar Cebu is also here.
I can't help but ask, Canito, is there anyone left in the Philippines right now?
That's unbelievable. Well, there's millions. I tell you, there's millions watching.
Seems like everyone's out here in Las Vegas, here to watch Morales and Pacquiao get it on again.
Well, we even have a Filipino writer who's based in Chicago, Homer Saison from Cebu, also here, witnessing the action as it unfolds dito po sa Thomas Mack Center. We have a lot of very important people watching at ringside, but back here to the fight, the WBA championship on the line in the 115-pound division. Brian, do you get the feeling that Munoz has slowed down a little bit here?
He's not pushing Castillo like he was early in the first couple of rounds. Seems as if he's backing up now and letting Castillo push him back.
Oh, nice shot to the body there by Munoz. We are in round number 5, scheduled for 12. And Castillo
Beautiful body shot there from Castillo once again.
Castillo now fighting Munoz from the center of the ring.
Castillo loves throwing that jab towards the body.
Yes, that's been an effective weapon for him. Then he tries to come back with a double left jab, but Munoz answering back with a jab of his own. Castillo showing some body shots here.
Both fighters again in the center of the ring.
Watch your head, watch your head.
Richard Steele telling both fighters to watch their heads. Could have been a cut open by an accidental headbutt. That's right, Richard Steele is saying that a cut has been opened, and the ringside physician, Al Capana, checking out the cut. It looks like it's no problem.
So he can go.
But there is
a problem for Castillo.
Yeah. Now, is that cut above the eye or under the eye?
Right above his right side of the eye, blood trickling down the side of his face.
Brian, with your experience as a professional fighter, a cut like that, how is it going to affect you? Will it want to make you go for a knockout early?
You just want to help and protect the cut so that the officials won't stop it. So it's up to the work for the cornerman to stop, or the cutman to stop that cut,
Brian,
so it won't get any worse there.
Do you become tentative or do you become more aggressive because of that cut?
You tend to become a lot more aggressive because you don't know whether you're going to stop the fight over a cut. You know, you want to end the fight, but also, you know, you have to watch yourself so you won't let yourself be open. Beautiful right overhand from Castillo. Coming back down to the body.
Castillo has really been dominating the exchanges the last few rounds, as Munoz looks like he's feeling the punishment that Castillo has inflicted to his body. He's slowed down considerably here.
There was a series of punches from Munoz there.
That's right, Castillo looking the stronger fighter this time, but Castillo does have that cut at the end. Incidentally, Brian, I want to take this opportunity. We know that millions and millions of our countrymen are watching. You've got your first championship defense coming up February 18. That's February 19, Manila time, at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas. And you're fighting against a former world champion.
Jose Antonio Aguirre from Mexico. The first title defense of February 18th under the Margarito fight, also on pay-per-view out here.
That's going to be a fight to watch. Brian Viloria will be back in the ring on February 18 U.S. time, February 19 morning, Philippine time, up against the former world champion, Jose Antonio Aguirre of Mexico. And that's for the WBC Light Flyweight Championship. Best of luck to you, Brian. We know that you'll get it done.
Surely will, Pinto.
Here we go again, Martin Castillo. Pace is really slowed here, especially with Munoz. It looks like he's stuck it out. He must have given it his all in the first few rounds.
The first couple rounds was very explosive here.
Yeah.
They got 12 rounds and they need to pace themselves a little bit more. So both fighters.
Now you want to see the same explosiveness that Alexander Munoz showed in the first 3 rounds. We had him winning the first 3 rounds, but since then, I think Castillo's been winning the rest of the way.
As if he was the man pushing Munoz back a little bit more than he did in the first couple of rounds. Now take a look over another cut.
That's right.
Now he's under his left side of his eye.
And again another headbutt. Another headbutt.
And they call it an accidental headbutt.
And okay. And ringside physician Al Capana says, let's get it on.
Very bad for Castillo, having 2 cuts now, one on the right side of his eye, right over his right side, one under his left eye. It's going to be interesting to see how his cornerman is going to handle and try to keep the blood from trickling down, making this cut even worse.
That's right. Well, you know, at this stage of the fight, if the fight is stopped because of the accidental headbutts, then you will go to the scorecards. Munoz will have the advantage because of that big first round knockdown that he scored.
Yes.
Here's Munoz.
He's pushing Castillo down, which is still warning both fighters not to push each other's head down.
Well, Munoz is showing a lot of tactics here that you don't often see in the rule books.
You know, a lot of these fighters try to do some dirty tactics. If he can get away with it, they'll do it.
Well, you see Munoz now, looks like he's revived himself. He's fighting with second wind. I think he also knows that he's now got fresh targets. He's got 2 cuts to target on the face of Martin Castillo.
Except when I was Munoz, I was trying to aim for those both cuts, making it worse, make it hard for Martin Castillo to concentrate.
Oh, nice shots there coming from Castillo from close range. But Munoz did not budge. Hey, Munoz can take a punch.
Munoz is pushing Castillo back again like he once did in the first couple rounds.
So 2 accidental headbutts now from Munoz.
Very bad news for Castillo.
That's right, but you know, under the WBA rules as well as the WBC and international rules, you do not deduct a point from an accidental headbutt.
There you go in the replay, another accident headbutt that opened an eye right under the left side of Castillo's eye.
There's the rabbit punch coming from Alexander Munoz. Oh, there's a nice shot there coming from Munoz and a counter coming from Castillo. And here is the crowd at the Thomas Mack Center awaiting the start of the big match between Manny Pacquiao and Eric Morales. And this coverage is presented to you by Smart Padala.
There you go, as we start the 7th round, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. And our sponsors, we want to be able to thank Brian. Smart Padala in cooperation with Crucible, Alaxan, Caltex, Delo, Redicon, Ion, Tanduay, and Hope Cigarettes. Bringing, of course, brought to you by Solar Sports, Simulcast over ABS-CBN.
Castillo pushing Munoz's head down again, which is still motion to not do that one again. Both fighters in the center of the ring. Nice right hand from Castillo.
Castillo is a survivor. His last 3 fights all went the distance. But Castillo, remember, he won his first 21 fights. He has scored 2 first-round knockouts, 4 second-round knockouts. But what about Munoz? Munoz won his first 25 since turning pro in '98, and then he won the championship over Celes Kobayashi, and finally losing the championship to Martin Castillo in 2004.
Nice crisp right hand from Castillo on Munoz.
Munoz and Castillo. Boy, what a war of attrition this is turning out to be, Brian.
Yes.
Castillo cut over the right eye, under the left eye. He was down in the first round. He's the defending champion. Alexander Munoz looks like he's slowed down, but sort of got his second win in the previous round.
We got a minute left in this 7th round. Munoz trying to see if he could make those cut worse. Nice right hand from Munoz, again from Munoz.
Here we go.
Munoz from Munoz with Castillo's on the ropes.
Big round here for Munoz.
Seems to me that every time Castillo's on the ropes, Munoz comes with a bunch of flurries.
That's right.
It makes Castillo look bad.
Castillo's been hit by that right hand of Munoz repeatedly in this round. And those are hard shots coming from El Explosivo. Munoz trying to get back the round, trying to save the round.
Still not
Castillo. Yeah, Castillo's trying to save the round.
50 seconds left in the 7th round.
Oh, nice shots there. Both fighters connecting. Another action-packed round here as this round coming to an end. Martin Castillo is the defending champion, the challenger Alexander Munoz. Hold on to your seats. That was the end of that round. More action. And you see Eric El Terrible Morales in his dressing room.
Already you can feel the energy in this arena
Oh, yes.
as we wait for Morales and Pacquiao to glove it up.
Here we go, round number 8. WBA Super Flyweight Championship on the line. Martin Castillo against Alexander Explosivo Munoz. Big round for Munoz, the previous one.
Very big round for him.
Castillo working with those handicaps, the cuts on his face.
Still looking to push Munoz back. Jabs to the body. Keeping Munoz at the end of his jabs. Munoz dancing around Castillo. Looking to see if he could land a few punches of his own.
Now you notice that Castillo is not as aggressive in this round. I think that point you made earlier, Brian, that a fighter who is cut up becoming a little more tentative to protect his cuts. We're seeing that now. He's not pushing Munoz like he did in the previous rounds, although that time he was moving in. But you know that he wants to protect those cuts.
He wants to protect those cuts because he doesn't want the officials to stop the fight because of his cuts. He wants to protect that. He doesn't want it to get any worse.
And I'm sure he also feels that he might not be ahead on points if the fight is stopped, and he will lose his title as a result on a technical decision.
Actually, this is pretty interesting to see if Munoz is going to start pushing Castillo back once again like he did in the first couple of rounds because of those cuts.
That's right. Some hard shots landed there in the middle of the ring. Munoz looks like he's coasting again. He's pacing himself.
Still showing why he's the world champion.
Right.
Pushing Munoz back. Interesting fight here.
Martin Castillo, the defending champion. Both fighters now tied up along the ropes.
A lot less action than the first two rounds here.
Not a very eventful round, this one.
Ooh, beautiful right hand from Munoz. That rocks Castillo.
Castillo on the way down. Castillo doesn't know where he is. Munoz, a big finish there. And Castillo again getting corner work there from his trainers. Watch what happened here. Towards the end of this round, a nice right hand straight, and Castillo almost going down. Watch it again here. That right hand coming straight at Castillo. And you know, if Castillo did not have good foot balance, he would have gone down.
There, Castillo clearly rocked.
He was wobbled.
Almost went down.
Right.
The champion stays on his feet and finishes that round on his feet. Let's see if he recovered from that.
Round number 9.
Corner's working on his cut earlier. It looks as if it was a deep cut there, Canito.
That's right. Well, that was a big ending for Munoz in the previous round. But you also notice that the right eye of Alexander Munoz is slowly closing.
A little swelling happening on the right eye of Munoz.
The right eye
hinders sight.
That's right. The right eye of Munoz is slowly closing, and that's because of those left jabs thrown by Martin Castillo.
So both fighters with handicaps here.
Right. But of course Munoz, he's looking to gain momentum from that late round action from the previous one when he almost decked Castillo.
Almost putting him down again. Although the first knockdown seems as if he slipped. But it was ruled an official knockdown, therefore possibly giving him a 10-8 round there.
9th round action right here. Martin Castillo. He was rocked late in the 8th round. He was down in the 1st round. He has been cut on his face, one above the right eye, one under the left eye.
Looks as if he got hurt.
Yes.
The late rounds of 8th round. Munoz suffering a little bit of a swelling over the right eye. Might be closing right now. It looks as if it's closing.
That's right, it's closing really fast. And Castillo, sensing that Munoz might be a one-eyed
Both fighters
Yeah.
sensing that they both got another hit put.
But referee Richard Steele saying, hey, I didn't stop the fight. You guys keep on fighting.
Exactly. Unless the referee steps in and says stop.
Yeah. Now the bombs are being thrown. Here we go. Both fighters in the center of the ring.
Both fighters throwing a lot of leather.
This is what the fans came here to watch. This kind of action. Toe to toe. Oh boy, they're giving it their all. Martin Castillo.
Pulls back with his shot. Body,
boy.
head. Another body shot. Munoz coming over with his own barrage of punches.
What a round.
Crowd here feeling it.
No round lost between these fighters. This is a grudge rematch. In their first meeting,
Both feel as if they're in some sort of urgency here.
right. Munoz connecting that time, and Martin Castillo forced to hold on. Remember, in their first meeting, 2004, tinalo po ni Castillo sa puntos si Alexander Munoz to take away his championship. Now Munoz wants payback. Oh, look at those punches being scored. Whoa! And Manny Pacquiao is in his locker room limbering up. He looks good. He looks tough.
If you're in here, you can hear the Mexicans screaming boo while the Filipino fans here screaming for their Filipino hero.
That's right. Handang-handa na po si Manny Pacquiao. And some slow-mo action there. This was the furious exchange in round number 9.
Shots to be a great fight.
Yes.
Both fighters sensing some sort of urgency here. That's why I believe they went in the middle of the ring and started throwing those types of exchanges. Starting here the 10th round. Very, very close fight now. Castillo having gone down early in the fight.
Ayan mga kababayan natin, nanonood sa SM Cinema 3. Kumusta kayong lahat? We understand that you are enjoying the action being presented here by Solar Sports, simulcast with ABS-CBN, and of course being shown in all SM cinemas all over the country. Ganon din sa Rockwell Theaters.
Turning out to be an exciting fight
Talagang gera to mga kaibigan. Grudge rematch right here.
between these two fighters.
Castillo versus Alexander Munoz. Munoz looks like he's just a one-eyed fighter at this stage. You can hardly see from his right eye, and I would expect Castillo to be moving towards that right eye to make it more difficult for Munoz to see where his target is. Again, your left jab being pumped by Castillo towards the right eye of Alexander Munoz.
One more time, I'm taking the point away, okay? One more time, okay? Box!
You see the warning.
Richard Steele here warning both fighters again. This time warning them that a point might be taken away if they keep doing the same thing. Nice uppercuts from Munoz. Castillo steps around again in the center of the ring. Nice jab from Castillo.
That's right, that knocked the head back of Alexander Munoz. But Castillo not really following up his advantage. He's throwing one punch at a time, not able to connect in his combinations. Munoz proving to be an elusive target here. El Explosivo contra El Gallo. Team Castillo. A man they call El Gallo, 29 years old. Munoz, 26 years old.
Can't help but notice that the cornerman did a very nice job on stopping the blood from leaking out of his cuts.
You're so right, Brian. Those cuts are no longer a handicap for Castillo. Oh,
nice
some
right hand left
shots.
hook combination from Castillo.
Such crisp punching. Counter left hand coming from Munoz. Oh, nice overhand. Overhand, right, yes, beautiful shot there for Castillo. Come on. Munoz
throwing another punch well.
You have to hand it to the ringside physician, Al Capano. He didn't stop this fight. I guess he must have realized that Castillo,
here we are,
will still be able to go on.
We are in the championship rounds, round 11.
All right, Alexander Munoz and Castillo. Castillo might be slightly behind on points at this stage. He did suffer that knockdown in round number 1, and he was rocked late in round number 8. Let's see what he can do. This is the home stretch, round number 11, scheduled for 12.
WBA World Championship on the line here. Both fighters suffering a little bit of injuries. Munoz with a swelling over the right eye. Castillo with 2 cuts, one over the right eye and one under the left eye, which looks as if it's under control. Good job from Castillo's
Alexander Munoz trying to work the jab. Castillo still looking for the opening. Castillo looking to unload.
Don't hold him.
Both fighters tumble to the ground. Richard Steele waving nose, both asleep. I believe that went down because of fatigue. Both fighters are a little bit tired here.
That's true. We did say that this is a battle of attrition. Oh, nice left-hand shot there by Castillo, followed up with a right.
And Munoz comes back with a flutter of his own.
Munoz, a very resilient fighter.
Both fighters getting back and forth with their own combinations, making this a very, very exciting fight. Beautiful right hand again from Munoz after Castillo landed a few punches of his own. Another good left hook from Castillo. Munoz pushing Castillo back against the ropes again.
Some telling shots being scored here by Munoz. Oh, Castillo retaliating. Boy, it's back and forth right here in round number 11.
Seesaw right here.
Yes, who wants it more? That's
another right hand from Munoz.
Oh, shots there.
Castillo getting on the ropes. Left hook from Castillo. Beautiful barrages and exchanges here in the 11th round. Got 35 seconds left. These fighters going at it.
Munoz looks like he's beating Castillo to the punch. Oh, that time Castillo got him with a left-hand shot.
Both fighters not letting up.
Tremendous action right here.
Munoz coming back with his own punches. But Castillo in a little bit of a headlock there. Richard Steele breaks them up. Got 10 seconds left in this left. Very nice right hand from Castillo. That rocks Munoz. Munoz is hurt. Munoz is hurt.
Munoz is hurt. And Munoz had to hold on.
Castillo.
What a punch.
Puts his hands up. Knowing he won that round. He's beautiful right hand. That rocked Munoz. Castillo back while his cutman again works on his cut.
Munoz was staggered very clearly, Brian, towards the end of the round. Just saw the rounder prancing. Let's watch it again. Here's the counter shot coming from Castillo. There you go, the left hand.
Keep it in front, no head.
And
no kidney punch, no rubber.
Watch it again.
Here we go. Beautiful.
Oh, yes, that was it.
Trying to come in. The left hook missed.
And the right hand
Munoz clearly
on the button. Yes.
got hurt from that right hand.
The question is which fighter will have more gas in the tank here in the final round.
Electrifying fight here.
Yes.
Everybody's on their feet.
If it's a close fight, it could go down to who wins this last round.
last round,
Castillo.
championship round here. Canelo,
Castillo wants it.
very close fight.
Yes.
Both fighters hurt. Castillo down in the first couple of rounds.
A big knockdown here might turn the tide for whichever fighter. Castillo staggered Munoz late in round number 11, and here he
Nice
comes
right hand
again.
from Castillo, putting the pressure on Munoz, and Munoz is stepping back. Munoz seems as if he's fatigued, seems tired in this round.
Munoz might
still
still
looking
be
as if he's
yes, and you know he might still be ahead on points here, but Castillo really needs to jack up his work rate. And there
nice
he
blow
goes.
from Castillo.
Mexico versus Venezuela right here. Castillo scoring.
Nice 1-2 combination. Castillo again pushing Munoz back. Munoz doesn't seem as if he recovered from that last
No,
round.
and he looks like a very tired fighter at this stage. Now you wonder, even if Castillo wins his round, will it be enough for him to take the decision? That's a big question mark. It all depends on how the judges have scored this fight. Our three judges, Glenn Feldman, Dalby Shirley, and Dick Huck. Oh yes,
Beautiful hook from Castillo.
Castillo is stalking Munoz. He's
being
going for the
spat
kill.
out. Castillo can feel as if Munoz is weakening here.
But Munoz is just holding on. He's just looking to survive this round. Castillo
Another
wants
nice
a
hook
knockout.
inside.
Castillo dominant here in the last round. Will it be enough, however?
Castillo trying to close this fight off. 48 seconds left in the last and final championship round for the WBA.
Castillo landing again some shots to the face, to the body.
Munoz is bleeding from the mouth. There's a lot of blood. But Munoz comes back with his own right hand to push Castillo back. Both these fighters are not letting up. Toledo.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable action and unbelievable heart being shown, being displayed by these fighters. Well, they're both world champions. Munoz was a world champion, has only lost once. Castillo, the reigning champion. And this bout is almost over. Castillo wrestled down to the canvas.
Munoz manhandling Castillo, pushing him down towards the canvas, and that's it.
It's over.
Beautiful fight. A great show of heart there, Canito.
That's
both
right.
fighters.
And both fighters are being hoisted by their cornermen. Now you wonder, who won this fight? A close one. Remember, Munoz scored that knockdown in the round number 1. Munoz staggered Castillo late in round number 8. But then Castillo came back to rock Munoz in round number 11, and he dominated round number 12. Blood all over the body of Martin Castillo. 2 cuts inflicted by Munoz as a result of headbutts. No points were deducted, however. And you only deduct points when there is a repeated violation of on offense.
Richard Steele warned them both that they keep pushing their head down, that one of them was going to get their points taken away.
Right.
So
there
that
has to be a
immediately
warning.
stopped.
Right. Not unless there's a blatant foul that's committed that will warrant an immediate point deduction.
So he said, hey, let's stop pushing each other's head down and let's throw.
That's right. Otherwise, 2 warnings, and on the 3rd infraction, there will be a point deduction. And here is Martin Castillo.
Still administering.
He's the defending champion.
That cut wasn't a factor in this fight. So was the swelling over Munoz's right eye.
And Brian, there's an air of suspense here at the Thomas Mack Center as everybody awaiting the decision. Did Castillo retain his championship?
I believe Castillo just did just enough in those last few rounds of this fight to win this fight. I mean, that's my opinion.
Okay, we have the ring announcer just about ready to give the decision.
When
Here we
Las
go.
Vegas we go. to the scorecards. Dalby Shirley scores the bout 115 to 112 for Munoz. Glenn Feldman scores it 115 to 112 for Castillo. Dick Hout scores it 116 to 111 for the winner by split decision. And still champion, Martin El Gallito Castillo.
Well, Brian, he called it right. Martin Castillo retaining his championship on a split decision. He went down in round number 1. He battled adversity.
But without Munoz putting him down to the canvas once early in the rounds and giving him a very, very hard time to retain his title this time around, Canito.
That's right. And what about those headbutts?
He had a series of headbutts that opened a couple of cuts on Castillo. Replays here.
Alexander Munoz, explosivo from Venezuela, giving it all he had. Of course, he finished that fight with a very badly swollen right eye. Some highlights there of the fight just ended.
Castillo staggered a little bit from a beautiful right hand from Munoz, pushing him back.
And in the 11th round, it was all Castillo. He staggered Munoz, and in the 12th round, he took that. And as you said, Brian, it looked like Castillo did enough. You said
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here to sing the next two anthems, a Grammy Award winner, recording superstar for Big 3 Records, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Cicada.
Yes. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero a prestar y el bidón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Ciña patria tus sienes de oliva, de la paz el arcángel divino, que en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios escribió. Mas te osare un extraño enemigo profanar con su planta tu suelo. Piensa, patria querida, que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero aprestad y el bidón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.
Yan po narinig natin the two national anthems. Now we have the Stars and Stripes, the American national anthem.
Early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets like leather bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Tatlo pong national anthems ang narinig natin. Unang-una yung Philippine National Anthem na kinanta po ng Viva Recording Star si Jen Bautista. Siya pong anak ng ating Games and Amusements Board Commissioner Angel Bautista, na siya naman ang nephew ni Senator Ramon Revilla. Yan po, napakinggan po natin, napanood po natin na napakagandang pagkanta ng ating national anthem. At meron pa siyang pahabol doon. At the end of the anthem, sabi po niya, Laban Takman! And of course, we heard the Mexican national anthem, the US national anthem. Ito po si Kenito Henson along with the reigning World Boxing Council Light Flyweight champion Brian Viloria. And Brian, can you believe the hype for this rematch?
I am so excited right now, Kenito.
Let's go through the tail of the tape.
Morales is 29 years old, Pacquiao 2 years younger, 27.
And of course, the reach advantage, let's translate that into something that we can clearly understand. In terms of inches, Morales has a distinct advantage.
72 inches, and Manny has 67 inches of reach advantage.
What about our rules, Brian?
3 judges, 10 points, no standing 8 count in this fight. There's 3 knockdown rules, it's not in effect. And a fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Only referee can stop the fight. An accidental foul with scorecards.
Here you go. The very familiar mariachi tune to welcome Eric El Terrible Morales to the Thomas Mack Center in Las Vegas. Morales is coming in. His record, pretty impressive.
48 wins with 3 losses and 34 away by knockout. Manny with 40 wins. 3 losses, 2 draws, and 32.
What about some of the strengths and weaknesses of Eric Morales?
Morales has a lot of experience in this fight, has gone many rounds with top-notch caliber fighters. His skills is very hard to hit. He's bigger than Manny. He's a lot more smarter as far as ring generalship. And he's very durable, not having to go down to the canvas, not even once as a professional.
There was that fluke knockdown scored by Marco Antonio Barrera in their first meeting, but you discount that because it really wasn't the knockdown suffered by Eric Morales. What about his weaknesses? His weight loss, that has to be a big weakness.
Yeah, the weight loss is there. He came in at a few pounds overweight in the last fight against Raheem, but came on weight for this fight, telling us that he's probably greater shape than he was against Raheem.
A lot of people are saying, Brian, that Eric Morales has reached his peak and he's on his way down. Do you believe that?
I don't think so. He's still a dangerous fighter. This guy has fought some of the greatest fighters in the sport of boxing. Morales seems to me like he shows that he has an advantage over Manny because he's already beat him once. And he's telling people that he might have a slight advantage over Manny.
And Brian, here he is now. Manny the Pac-Man Pacquiao making his way into the ring. And what about some of Manny's strengths?
Manny has incredible power in both fists. Knocked down Manny. He has speed, his footwork, and his heart. His heart is so incredible. He stays and he fights. He doesn't want to back down from anybody. He fights anybody in there in the world, and he's pound for pound one of the best fighters out here. He's very relentless in both his combinations and his footwork, and his conditioning. I've never seen a fighter in the ring that can stay at that type of pace from the first round all the way to the last round. Other than Manny Pacquiao, here inside the ring, ready. Everybody already on their feet. You can feel the electricity here.
It's unbelievable. Manny Pacquiao is down on his knees. He is now praying, and this is his usual ritual just before climbing into the ring to fight. Manny Pacquiao is on his knees and asking for protection from our Lord, a very religious man. Manny Pacquiao, a mass was held in his hotel room this morning. This coverage is presented to you by Smart Padala in cooperation with Crucival, Alaxan, Caltex, Dello, Rubicon Ion, Kandwai, and Hope Cigarettes.
Ladies
Now
and
let's listen to
gentlemen,
Michael Buffer.
Las Vegas is proud to welcome you to the Thomas Mack Center, Las Vegas, Nevada, where tonight Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing in the super featherweight division. On the line, the WBC International title. This contest is sponsored by your undisputed champion, the King of Beers, Budweiser, and sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission Chairman Skip Avancino Jr., Executive Director Mark Ratner. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this contest on the 10-point system will be Dave Moretti, Jerry Roth, and Paul Smith. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action inside the ring, referee Kenny Bayless. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, courtesy of Wynn Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with flames, official weight 128.5 pounds. Professional record, 40 victories, including 31 knockouts with only 3 defeats and 2 draws. From General Santos City, Philippines, the 2-time world champion, Manny Pacquiao. His opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with black. Official weight, 130 pounds. Professional record, 48 victories, including 34 knockouts with only 3 defeats. Damas y caballeros, de la zona norte, Tijuana, Mexico, the 3-time world champion, Eric El Terrible
Introductions are over. Third man in the ring is Kenny Bayless, and he has been an excellent choice to referee this match. Brian, what are the keys to victory in this one?
Manny Pacquiao needs to stay off the ropes in this fight. In his last fight, he was bouncing out, in and out, but also catches himself on the ropes when Morales is throwing a lot of his punches. He needs to fight in the center ring, use his speed, use his footwork, stay, not step straight back. He needs to do lateral movements around Morales and use his speed. I know he's a faster man than Morales. He needs to stay. Morales needs to use his reach advantage and use his great defense.
Okay, let's see what will happen here. This fight, some of the keys to victory, of course, the style, the power, the recovery factor, the stamina, and referee Bayless, who's a very athletic referee. He's 55 years old, and he has refereed some of the biggest fights in history. And here we go. It's round number 1.
Waiting for.
Ito na po. Both are in white. Manny Pacquiao with the flames on his trunks. Pacquiao versus Morales. This is part 2. Ang battle plan po na sinabi ni Manny Pacquiao is that he will attack the body and he will wait for the head of Eric Morales to fall in the later rounds. Whether that will happen or not, let's see.
Both men feeling each other out.
Pacquiao is a southpaw. Moving in with a right hand is Manny Pacquiao. No hard punches thrown yet in this fight. Both fighters uncorking some jabs.
Fans screaming for their hometown hero, Morales.
There's Manny Pacquiao showing a little more aggressiveness here. Eric Morales, typically a counter puncher, but will he change his style? Will he be aggressive in this fight? There's Morales fighting from the inside. No damage inflicted by either fighter so far.
Both fighters still seems as if they're trying to feel each other out in this first round.
Brian, Manny throwing a lot of right hands.
Throwing a lot of jabs here. Trying to see what Morales will do when he sticks that jab out there.
No explosion yet in this fight that's scheduled for 12. The WBC International Super Featherweight Championship on the line.
See Manny there going to the body. Nice little uppercut from Manny Pacquiao.
Manny, that hand speed, very blinding. Might have rocked the head there of Eric Morales. Manny showing more aggressiveness. I think he'll take this round.
Good, beautiful right hook from Manny.
Morales is counter punching. Morales is trying to come in. Oh, Morales connecting with a 1-2. Manny Pacquiao might have gotten hurt. He's along the ropes. Eric Morales exploding right here.
It's a very nice left hand right, followed by a right from Eric Morales. It seemed to stun Manny Pacquiao there for a second.
That's right, he didn't expect it. Manny Pacquiao connecting with a couple of lefts inside.
But in Manny fashion, he comes back with his own barrage of his own.
Here we go. Pacquiao on the attack.
25 seconds left in the first round, and already got a little bit of action here. This rematch against Pacquiao Morales.
Some hard shots being exchanged right here.
This fight, it doesn't seem as if Pacquiao has that bouncy type of forward goal. He seems settled. He seems willing and ready to exchange punches with Morales.
Look at the slow-mo action from the previous round. This was actually from the first round when Eric Morales caught Manny Pacquiao's attention with a right hand and then unleashed a flurry. Manny recovered very well from that barrage, and he hit both his gloves saying, let's get it on! And the corner of Manny Pacquiao, Freddie Roach. He has worked the corners of several world champions, James Toney, Marlon Starling, Michael Moorer. Round number 2 coming right up.
Let's not forget, Morales is the bigger man here in the ring, because he got longer reach advantage. He's using that right now with a left jab, followed by a right hand that caught Manny flush on the face, stacked him a little bit, but not enough. Manny coming back with his own combinations.
Eric Morales pushing that right straight. Manny Pacquiao looking for the angles. He's trying to pin Morales along the ropes into the corners. Morales, now they're both in the center of the ring.
Pacquiao looking for an opening. Searching and looking, throwing jabs. Morales here. A little bit of fear. Pacquiao comes back with his own flurry.
And Eric Morales, that sign of respect from Morales.
Let me see what's going to happen here.
Well, this is like a volcano waiting to explode. Brian, as you see, Manny Pacquiao trying to unload. But you were mentioning one of the strengths of Eric Morales is that he is a difficult target. He's hard to hit.
Very hard to hit. He got his both hands up. The long reach.
And great defense.
Very good defense. He's known to box. Manny here pushing Morales back.
Manny is not really attacking the body yet. We haven't seen a sustained attack from Manny Pacquiao that time. Yes.
Pushes Morales back.
Nice shot for Pacquiao. Another left. 1-2. Manny Pacquiao. A 1-2 combination. But Morales coming right back.
He needs to be careful here.
Ito na ang gera sinasabi natin. Morales and Pacquiao.
He needs to be careful not to get a little bit too careless here, Canito.
That's right. When Manny comes in, he leaves himself a little off balance. He has both hands down as he comes charging in. But Morales is such a terrific counterpuncher that Manny has to be careful.
Left almost. Nice left. Yes. Staggers Morales back.
And here's Morales.
Come on.
He's coming in. Eric Morales almost down.
Morales, his own punches. He's saying no.
And Eric Morales fighting back.
He says he can't have this happening. So he comes back with his own barrages. But Pacquiao got him hurt.
Oh yes, without a doubt.
A little bit.
Without a doubt. Eric Morales almost went down.
Like I said, Pacquiao can leave himself careless here. He can't leave himself open. He needs to be patient. He needs to look at his shots, pick his shots.
Oh, what a big round here for Manny Pacquiao. Now watch Manny attacking the body. Morales trying to come back with some shots to the head. Oh, nice shot by Manny Pacquiao. A right hand to the face. And another one. Beautiful round for Manny Pacquiao. That was a beautiful round. A convincing round for the Pac-Man.
Everybody here in the arena standing on top of their feet. Manny ending that round with a very beautiful. Morales back to the ropes.
Watch your balance, okay?
Let's watch the action again, Brian. A shot coming from Eric Morales, and he forces Manny to backtrack. But Pacquiao, what resiliency and recovery. There's Morales
a little
again.
jab there from Morales.
And that time he pinned Pacquiao along the ropes. But Pacquiao showing a lot of heart in coming back. And that was a punch. That was a punch that almost knocked him down. And Morales says, come on. But if he didn't have help from those ropes, Brian, Morales would have gone down from that left-hand shot.
It would have been counted as a knockdown from a punch.
And we are seeing an action-packed fight here. Entering round number 3, Pacquiao versus Morales, part 2. Morales felt Manny's power in round number 2.
I gave the first round to Morales, the second round to Manny Pacquiao for his combination and staggering Eric Morales a little bit. For my cards, it's 1-1 right now. Watch this third round. Beautiful hook from Manny Pacquiao with the right hook. Back with a left straight.
Nice shot there from Morales. Right hand. Morales connecting with shots to the face there.
Morales pushing Manny's head down.
Morales is always a dangerous fighter.
Very dangerous.
And he's also very durable. Let's see what Manny can do here. Again, Manny trying to trap Morales into a corner. Morales catching Pacquiao. Pacquiao answering back. This is toe-to-toe action.
Very much toe-to-toe action right about now.
Well, the way I see it, Morales is engaging Manny Pacquiao. It's almost as though Morales is saying, I can take your punches, but you can't take mine. Referee Kenny Bayless has done a wonderful job here, letting the fighters just fight it out. Now he breaks up both fighters.
Both fighters again in the center of the ring. Nice jab from Morales.
Some shots to the body being sneaked in there by Manny Pacquiao. And Brian, let's hope that there will be no accidental clashes of heads. We don't want the headbutt opening up on either fighter.
Happened in the last fight against Morales. Manny suffered a cut over his right eye in the 5th round.
Morales unloading. What a counter-attack from Morales, and Pacquiao says, come on, let's get it on. Morales again scoring. Those are crisp punches. Oh, there we go. Manny Pacquiao. And oh, nice right uppercut coming from Morales. Now both fighters are exchanging.
That was a beautiful right hook and another beautiful left hook for Manny after he turned Morales around. He needs to turn Morales around a little bit more in this fight. That's what I mean by using his laterals. That's what I mean by trying to turn him around.
Oh, nice. Double left jab coming from Manny Pacquiao. And now the crowd chanting Manny, Manny, as he has Eric Morales on the run a little bit here.
Manny working the body like he said he would.
Manny always on the attack, always pressing forward. Let's see some action from round number 3. Barrage unloaded by both these fighters. Ito makikita po natin. Yung depensa po ni Eric Morales, that time Morales unleashing that left jab. Catching Manny Pacquiao. Trainer Feli Roach, Buboy Fernandez, Cutman Joe Chavez, who has worked many fights of Oscar De La Hoya, in the corner of Manny Pacquiao.
Also along with the conditioning coach Justin Fortune.
Round number 4. Pacquiao opening the round with that familiar double right jab.
Manny here putting the pressure on Morales.
Always on the attack. He's always stalking Morales. Morales making good use of the ring. Watch Morales just move around. Manny always looking to counter, always looking to fight off the ropes. That's Eric Morales, a very methodical fighter. Here we go! Manny Pacquiao, exploding! Ito na naman si Manny, umaatake. Grabe po ang puso ni Manny Pacquiao at pinapakita niya dito sa buong mundo kung gaano kalaki ang kanyang puso in fighting this very, very durable, very tough customer, Eric Morales.
Again, there's a good jab from Morales.
Here we go once more. Manny coming in with that right, and then he unloads with the left, but Morales coming right back with a combination of his own.
Pacquiao saying no. Nothing landed there. Back with his own combinations. Beautiful right hook from Pacquiao.
Both fighters landing that time. Here's Morales. Watch his right hand. That's his killer punch.
And Pacquiao doing a great job staying in the center of the ring.
That's right, and also he's making good use of his gloves to parry many of the blows of Eric Morales. Uh-oh. Here comes Eric Morales. Might have gotten Manny Pacquiao hurt that time, but Pacquiao is coming back, boy. What heart. Here he goes again. Pacquiao looking for Morales' body and then connecting with that sweeping right uppercut. There's a combination with blinding hand speed coming from Manny Pacquiao.
Trying to look for those uppercuts inside.
Punches of Morales blocked there by the good defense of Manny Pacquiao. I haven't seen Manny's defense look so good.
He's been working a lot on that in the gym. Also, Freddie has also told me that he's been working a lot on trying not to stay on the ropes as often. He's doing a really good job staying in the center of the ring, exchanging combinations with Morales. I think he is a better fighter when he's in the middle of the ring and not on the ropes.
And again, the aggressiveness of Manny Pacquiao. Morales just countering, looking for the opening, always being patient.
10 seconds left in the fourth round. As we come to a close on already an electrifying match.
Morales trying to steal that round from Manny Pacquiao, but again another strong finish from Manny as he looks the way of the judges saying, that's what I can do to Eric Morales. Sequences there from the previous round. That was round number 4. And some connections by Eric Morales as he forces Manny Pacquiao to backpedal. There is Morales. His new trainer, Jose Luis Lopez Sr., who's 57 years old. His son, Jose Luis Jr., was once the World Boxing Organization welterweight champion, known to be a disciplinarian. Morales and Pacquiao, round number 5, now on the way. A lot of Filipino dignitaries right here. The first gentleman is here. Congressman Mikey Arroyo is here. Senator Nico Lapid, we've seen him. Congressman Monica Petevella. A lot of dignitaries right here. Congressman Nograles. Here we go, round number 5 action.
Morales working that jab and right hand.
Oh, crisp combination coming from Eric Morales.
Nice hook from Manny Pacquiao. Nice left
shot
straight from Manny Pacquiao.
And Eric Morales saying that didn't hurt him. And Manny Pacquiao saying, that didn't hurt me either.
Good fighters in the center ring again.
You know, I like the way Manny Pacquiao is using that right jab to set up his left, Brian.
I love the way these guys are utilizing their strengths. And Manny in here, working the body, back on the top with his nice hooks.
Oh, nice defense by Manny Pacquiao that time. He knew that right straight from Eric Morales was coming in and he blocked it.
Morales using his jab really clean, really crisp in this fight.
Manny flicking that right hand.
Beautiful body shot.
And Manny, oh, what hand speed again. 1, 2, 3 combination. Eric Morales up.
Eric comes back to the zone, almost slipped on the canvas there. A little bit of wetness around the center of the canvas.
An uppercut scored there by Eric Morales as he tries to drive Manny Pacquiao back with that long left jab.
And he's doing a great job pushing Eric Morales backwards. Nice strikes from Eric. Comes back with his own right, left foot, his own.
And here we go, Manny Pacquiao. Nice left hand, sneaked in there by Manny. Morales missing with the right.
Beautiful show of offense from both fighters thus far.
You know, we were talking about Manny's conditioning for this fight. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I've heard him.
The physical conditioning that he's worked himself.
Exactly.
He's in the greatest shape of his life.
Miles. Doing sprints.
Oh yes.
And he always comes to these fights with great top physical condition. Being known to keep the pace from the first round all the way to the last final.
Puede soltarle la izquierda y la derecha.
action there from the previous round. Eric Morales, he appeared to land the cleaner shots in that round. But Manny is just pressing continuously.
Always pressuring his fighter.
When he's on the ropes, you drop down to the body. Okay? You back him up with the jab.
I mean, that's the typical Manny Pacquiao style in every one of these fights.
That's right. You know, we were talking about the dignitaries here, watching this fight in the Thomas Mack Center. What about Congressman ABS And we were with him yesterday, along with Arias Romulo, also Governor Chavit Singson. That's right. And Manny's staff has been working wonders. Joe Ramos, Jake Hosson, Eric Pineda, his wife Macy, and of course Manny's wife Jinky here at ringside. And the instructions from Manny's corner to double up on his jabs, double up on his hooks, and not allow Eric Morales to counter as effectively as he usually does. Here's Manny again on the attack.
Left body tried to come back with a right hook.
And I think that made Eric Morales wins. Here we go.
Manny needs to keep pressuring Morales.
And Manny on the attack. Manny is on fire right now. And Eric Morales trying to fight back, trying to show that he's not hurt. This is round number 6. Third man in the ring is Kenny Bayless, yes.
Crowd screaming, Manny, Manny.
Eric Morales throwing a left straight.
Morales with his defense, his hands high.
You know, one thing, Ryan, the fighter who is in better condition, will win this fight because, you know, if it comes down to the later rounds, that's going to be a factor. Stamina will be a factor in this fight. There's Manny connected. That was a clean shot.
I've said earlier during this fight that whoever pushes the other fighter more in this fight will have a better chance of winning this fight.
Look at that hand speed here. Eric Morales is teeing off. Manny Pacquiao teeing off on Eric Morales. A beautiful combination. One of Manny's best rounds so far. Got him again.
Beautiful left hook from Manny. Coming back with a series of barrages punches.
And Eric Morales doesn't know where the punches are coming from. I like the way Manny also swings around Eric Morales when he's throwing punches to avoid the counters.
That's what I mean by using his lateral movements and stepping on the side and coming back with a few of his punches of his own.
That's something we haven't seen Manny do in his previous fights.
That's something he's been working in and out of the gym on for the past 2 months. And Manny's been utilizing it tonight here, making Morales look at
it's a great tactic. And there's Manny Pacquiao digging right to the body of Eric Morales. A great round here for
10
Manny
seconds
Pacquiao.
left in this round.
And there we go again. Eric Morales looks like he's hurt. Here we go. Manny Pacquiao.
Pacquiao pushing him off.
Manny Pacquiao about to finish off. Almost went down. Eric Morales almost went down.
Manny Pacquiao closed that round off very strong.
Oh my gosh.
Morales looks as if he was hurt.
From the first fight, the way Manny has exploited the weaknesses of Eric Morales, and it's all-out aggression on his part, and the fact that when he lunges in, he curls over to one side to avoid the counters of Eric Morales. Looks like he studied Morales' style very well.
Exactly what I said. He needs to step around Morales'. Go in and out, not step straight back, but use lateral punches. Come back when he turns Morales around. He's been doing that beautifully in this fight.
In our unofficial scorecards, Manny Pacquiao is ahead by about 2 or 3 rounds. He has been doing exceptionally well in boxing Eric Morales.
Let's not count Morales out this time.
Oh, not at all.
He is a fighter.
He's a durable fighter. And Morales making the sign of the cross. Manny cannot afford to be overconfident. I think he's leading in points. He had a spectacular round number 6. But look at Eric Morales connect. Oh my gosh.
That's what I mean, but he can't get too careless in here. He sees Morales hurt. He needs to just keep doing what he's try to take Morales out.
That's right. Well, that defense has to be there. If Manny is in for the long haul, he's got to know. But look at Eric Morales. He's coming charging in.
This is what I mean. He needs to get off the ropes. Manny he needs to get off the ropes and fight again in the center where he's a lot more.
That's right.
A better fighter.
Well, Eric Morales is trying to pin Manny Pacquiao along the ropes. Now they're in the center of the ring. And here's Manny Pacquiao saying, hit me more. But Manny's got to hit back. Here we go. Manny Pacquiao.
Nice uppercut
mga kaibigan. Manny throwing hard shots at Eric Morales.
Manny
trying to fight back. I tell you, Morales started this round strong, but it looks like he's weakening, Brian. Look at those body shots coming from Manny Pacquiao.
Still needs to keep working what he was working on. He can't get a little too overconfident every time Morales takes great punches. Morales can take big punches.
I don't see the rhythm from Eric Morales at this stage. Right now in this round, Pacquiao is dictating.
And he still needs to work off his jab. Still needs to keep going down to the body. He's been working effectively for him in this fight. Still working beautifully, staying in the center of the ring and not being backed up into the ropes, Canito.
Well, the bread and butter punch of Eric Morales is that left jab. That's what he's using to stave off Manny Pacquiao. But Manny is just such a relentless fighter. He is all over Eric Morales, pressuring him to the corners, pressuring along the ropes, and here we go again.
Beautiful fight thus far.
Oh yes. You see the seconds left in this round. Great start here for Eric Morales in the round, but Manny Pacquiao is closing out with a flurry. With a flourish.
Manny Pacquiao trying to steal this round. Probably coming back with a bunch of flurries. Trying to finish this round with his last punches.
Yes.
But no, it's Eric with his last punches. Manny comes back to his...
Kind of action we anticipated. This is a battle, not just a battle, but a war. Let's listen to what they say in Eric Morales' corner. Blood coming out of his nose. He looks glassy-eyed to me. There appears to be a cut over his right eye. Watch it here. There's that shot coming from Morales. Then he missed. We were talking about the defense of Manny. The way he's been slipping those punches. Some shots are connected by Manny and Morales. I want to take this opportunity also to greet some of our friends here at ringside. Concert King Martin Rivera is here. Also Samari Ojeda. Also we want to greet Mrs. Gretchen Cojuangco. And happy birthday. She celebrated her birthday yesterday. Mrs. Cojuangco, of course, the wife of San Miguel Corporation Chairman, Ambassador Danding Cojuangco.
We are in the 8th round of this already amazing fight between Eric Morales and Manny Pacquiao. Both fighters relentless in their own ways. Both fighters still in the center of the ring, slugging it out. Looks as if Manny has a little bit of an edge over Eric Morales this time around.
But Morales, again as you said, always a very dangerous fighter. Strictly speaking, he's never been down on the canvas, although Marco Antonio Barrera scored a fluke knockdown in their first meeting. That was, in fact, the fight that Morales beat Barrera. Morales has lost only thrice in his career, twice to Barrera, once to Zahir Rahim. That was his last fight. 1, 2, 3 combination coming from Manny Pacquiao, and he backs up Morales. Morales looks hurt. But you know, Morales could be playing possum. You'll never know.
They lure Manny in. So we could have like a little bit of exchange in there.
Manny looks really sharp. In excellent physical condition. He sacrificed a lot. He wasn't in the Philippines for his birthday. He wasn't in the Philippines with his family for Christmas and New Year's. And look at Manny. And look at Morales coming right back.
Both fighters spilling their heart and guts out here tonight. You know, they closed down the gym between 1 and 3 for Manny Pacquiao, so there won't be anybody coming in bothering while Manny's training for this fight. You know,
that's right. That was at the Wild Card Gym in Los Angeles. Look at Manny. Again, the shots to the body. And look at him punish Eric Morales. Morales looking a little tired at this stage. His mouth is open.
2-3 again, combination from Manny.
Manny's beginning to connect with tremendous regularity right here. We're in the 8th round, and Morales is backpedaling. Morales is looking tired.
Morales seems
he's also getting battered. Manny looks a lot fresher than Morales at this stage.
Like you said, we can never count Eric Morales out in any of the fight.
Oh no, not at all.
Always comes back willing to fight.
You can't say enough about Manny's defense. And look at him again, throwing those punches. And Eric Morales trying to come back to save this round.
So come here, comes back with his own combination. But Manny Pacquiao says, come on, bring it.
And another excellent round coming from Manny Pacquiao. So 8 rounds now.
In the books.
In the books. Everybody's so excited. His face looks like preventing any swelling from further ruining his facial features. Brian, and take a look at some of the action right here. Morales such an excellent counterpuncher that time.
Morales trying to lure Manny in.
Yes. Pacquiao dug in a shot to the body. And there's that hand speed. The classic Pacquiao hand speed, Brian.
Second punch, right hook, followed by a left straight.
Let's go!
And flush on Eric Morales. Running beautifully, ending that round.
Here we go once more. Round number 9. 3 judges for this fight: Paul Smith, Jerry Roth, and Dave Moretti. Smith and Moretti were the judges, were 2 of the judges in the first Manny Pacquiao Eric Morales fight, and they scored it for Morales 115 to 113.
In the first meet, we were talking about him having to suffer a cut in the 5th round. It might not have left him not wanting to commit to throwing and exchanging with Morales in fear of worsening the cut. This time there's no cuts on Manny Pacquiao, therefore having him to feel comfortable exchanging punches with Eric Morales.
Manny Pacquiao using the Mexican-made Cleto Reyes gloves, while Eric Morales using the Japanese-made winning gloves.
There's a big controversy whether the gloves might have offered a little bit of a factor in their last meeting.
What do you think, Brian? You think the gloves had anything to do with it?
Some say that it doesn't really matter. Both fighters.
You've used Cleto Reyes gloves yourself.
I've used Cleto Reyes, and there's tendencies where the gloves, in the middle of the glove starts to wear out. You begin to feel a lot more of your knuckles than usual.
And that means more impact when you connect.
But also can have a negative side effect on it. Might end up breaking your hands, which I did suffer. I did suffer a hand break in our first fight.
Oh, nice uppercut that time. Connected by Eric Morales.
And he dances around, going back to the center of the ring.
That might have caught Manny's attention right there, but you also noticed hindi nag-follow up si Eric Morales. Oh, here we go. Again,
beautiful right hook. Bombs being thrown here in the 9th round. We got 1 minute and 5 seconds left here.
Manny connected with some hard shots to the face. That left hand. And Morales is right there for a target. He's not moving around. Matirang matibay dito, mga kaibigan. Wala nang galawan dito. There's very little footwork. Both fighters are fighting it toe-to-toe.
In the center of the ring here, Canito.
Yes.
That's why I said that Manny could be a little bit more of a better fighter if he fights in the center of the ring. He's doing it beautifully in this fight.
And again, Manny striking that side of the body of Morales. You know, Brian, you're so right. Manny has learned to stay away from the ropes, and he's engaging Morales in the center where he is more effective.
There you go. And pushing Morales is best. I told you, whoever pushes each other back in this fight has a better of a chance winning this fight. And this it seems as if Manny Pacquiao is doing that, pushing Eric back, looking more like the aggressive fighter. Here you go, Eric Morales dancing around, looking to see if he's tired. Manny says, come on, let's fight. There you go, the 9th round in the books.
Then the way I see it, Brian, I don't see the timing of Eric Morales any longer. The sharpness of his punches, I don't see that here.
Do you think that the effect of him losing another extra 5 pounds might be contributing to him being a little bit more fatigued than usual? Wait.
And look at Eric Morales. He looks fatigued. He looks like a battered fighter. Morales weighed his heaviest for the Zahir Rahim fight, 134. But about 3 days before the weigh-in, he weighed 131 and a half, and he made 130-pound limit on the button on his first try. Take a look at some of the action from the previous round. And Manny Pacquiao connecting with those shots. Boy! But what durability on the part of Eric Morales as Manny connecting squarely. Here we go, round number 10. Kapit bayan, pagdasal po natin si Manny Pacquiao upang manalo.
Manny needs to keep doing what he's doing in this fight, staying in the center of the ring, not letting Eric Morales push him back towards the ropes. Doing it beautifully in this round. I believe if he keeps doing this, he might have won this fight.
Morales again counter-punching. Spearing Manny Pacquiao, trying to keep him at bay, hold him off. Looks like Eric Morales is trying to buy some time. He's not attacking. He's just throwing those left jabs para hindi makalapit si Manny. Now he attacks, and when he does, Manny's there waiting for him. But Manny looks sharp. What a shot to the body there by Manny Pacquiao.
Nice body shot there from Manny.
Yes.
Another
Here we
body
go.
shot there.
Manny Pacquiao. Eric Morales is not fighting back. This looks bad for the Mexican. Manny Pacquiao looks like he's now about to dominate Eric Morales, as if he hasn't over the last few rounds, Brian.
Like I said, he can't be too careless in this fight. He's still in with Eric Morales.
That's right. There's a lot more rounds to go. We're only in round number 10. Pakatapos po rito, may 11, may 12.
Still working the body. He's taking a little bit of effect on Eric Morales right now. Looking a lot more weaker than he usually did in his last confrontation with him.
And look at those punches coming from Manny. That hand speed is still there. I don't see that kind of speed any longer from Eric Morales. Looks like Eric's timing is a little bit off now. Halo na siguro yung pagod, yung sakit sa mga suntok galing kay Manny. At ito si Manny. Ay talagang pinupupok na po.
That was a beautiful body shot.
Manny, yeah. Eric Morales.
Nice right hook from Manny Pacquiao. Both exchange in the middle of the ring. There's a nice left that puts Eric Morales down.
Eric Morales down for the down. And he's taking a count. Boy, he looks a finished fighter. Kenny Bayless.
Waiting to the count.
Mandatory 8 count. The first knockdown scored in this fight. Manny Pacquiao.
This is when it gets dangerous, Canito. But Maryland,
they're gonna stop it. They stop it. They stop the fight. Manny Pacquiao has won. 11th round. Tactical knockout.
He knocked out Eric Morales.
Eric Morales had never been stopped in his entire career. Manny Pacquiao, he is the man.
He was the stronger fighter tonight, Canito.
Mabuhay ka, Manny. Oh yes.
Every punch landed. Every punch landed crisp and hard and sound. And Manny's there crying. Shelly Finkel hugging Manny right now.
Well, I tell you, this was exactly what Manny planned. And with Freddie Roach, he confided to us in our conversation yesterday that they were going to go to the body, that they had a lot of surprises for Eric Morales, and they were going to go for a late knockout. Everything worked according to plan. And what about that tactic, Brian, that we were talking about, of Manny Pacquiao moving in throwing his combinations, and then whirling away before Eric Morales could throw his counter punches.
It made it a lot more easier for Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he went in there, got a plan, worked the body very beautifully in this fight, stepped around, stayed in the center of the ring. I mean, stayed off the ropes. What more can you ask from Manny Pacquiao? He performed very well, very much what Freddie Roach has been working on in the gym.
And look at that shot.
It just tired Eric Morales out.
And Manny Pacquiao moving in for the kill. And a left-hand shot to the head of Eric Morales. You know, you're talking about which fighter had more will to win. Very clearly, Manny Pacquiao had the determination. He knew that he was going to win this fight, not only for himself, but for the entire Filipino nation. Mabuhay ka, Manny Pacquiao.
We now bring you the new Revicon Ion Power Punch.
Manny Pacquiao. Both exchange in the middle of the ring. There's a nice left hand that puts Eric Morales down.
Eric Morales down. And he's taking a count. Boy,
You have just seen the new Revicon Ion Power Punch.
Going in and out, stepping straight back. He stayed off the ropes beautifully. Like I said, if he did, it would have made this fight a lot more easier for him. And look now, Manny stopped Eric Morales. Never been stopped in his career.
Well, the first gentleman is right there, offering his congratulations to Manny Pacquiao for a job well done. And Eric Morales is still sitting on his stool. He took a beating tonight. He gave it all he had, but just wasn't enough. Manny Pacquiao came very well prepared for this one. He was in superb physical condition. And as you said, Brian, he had an excellent training camp. Sabi nga ni Freddie Roach, his training camp for this fight was even better than the training camp he had when he demolished.
Distractions this time around.
Right, when he demolished Marco Antonio Barrera. At ang sabi nga nila, at sabi ni Manny sa akin, no, siya ang tinik ng Mexico, sa lalamunan ng Mexico. He has been the scourge of Mexican fighters. He has brought down Gabriel Mira, Marco Antonio Barrera, Eduardo Lucero, and now Eric Morales. Here's the official time.
Penny Bayless steps in and calls a halt to the bout at 2 minutes 33 seconds of round number 10. The winner by TKO victory, Manny Pacquiao.
And there's the official announcement and the downcast face of Morales' manager, Fernando Beltran. We just saw him in our backdrop. And there's Manny Pacquiao being hugged by Eric Morales, being congratulated. There's one of his managers, Nick Tanner, is right there. Of course, his chief manager, Shelly Finkel. Yung pong manager ni Manny Pacquiao sa likod niya, si Jake Hosson. Everybody's contributed to this big victory. Yung pong mga spar mates ni Manny, siguro nag-contribute din sila because nagpabugbog po sila ni Manny Pacquiao. Nabubulol na po tayo rito in our excitement, and this is just an incredible victory for Manny Pacquiao.
So what does this lead Manny Pacquiao now? What is there in the future for him?
Well, a lot. Manny Pacquiao, his future is so bright at this point. He has won this for the entire Filipino nation. And now you're talking about possibly a big rematch with Marco Antonio Barrera with a WBC title on the line. Some highlights of this fight. And Eric Morales might have won the first round in your scorecards, Brian, but Morales tried to do whatever he could, but Manny was just sharper. And as the fight wore on, as the rounds progressed, parang nanghina ito si Eric Morales sa dami ng mga suntok na tinanggap niya galing kay Manny Pacquiao.
You want to notice in this round, Camilo, and in this fight, is that Manny Pacquiao was a little bit more, he settled a lot more on his punches. He wasn't coming out, bouncing out, using up a lot of his energy. He seemed a lot more composed in this fight than he did in his last fight.
I think it's very clear that the fighter who was in better physical condition won this. And of course, the kind of strategy that Manny Pacquiao used was tremendous. His defense was superb. Nakita natin yung mga counter shots ni Eric Morales. Yeah, he stayed in the center. He didn't allow himself to be pushed against the ropes. At nabablock niya yung mga counter shots ni Eric Morales, and that was the first knockdown. He got clubbed in the head, and then later on he just went down. Manny just took the fight out of him. And that was the second knockdown at sabi ni Kenny Bayless, wala na, tapos na, sobra na. Masyadong magaling si Manny Pacquiao. Yan ang ating bayani mga kaibigan. Yan po ang ating hari sa mundo or ng mundo, Super Pacman po.
Already can see the people rejoicing on the streets in the streets of Manila.
Governor Chavit Singson is in the ring. And one of Manny Pacquiao's biggest supporters. A tremendous turnout here of the Filipino community to embrace Manny Pacquiao, to wish him well. And Manny Pacquiao certainly acquitted himself. Si Eric Morales po talagang nabugbog po dito ni Eric Morales. Kita-kita po natin ang ebidensya sa kanyang mukha. And you don't know whether this could be the end of Eric Morales' career. Meron nga nagsabi, pababa na siya. This is the second consecutive defeat.
Do you think he grew overnight, Canito?
Well, could be. That could have been a factor because he looked pretty big again. Overnight, he might have put on about 10, maybe 15 pounds. That made him a little slower. And also, he was an easier target for Manny. Keith Davidson, one of the managers of Manny Pacquiao, also in the ring. Freddie Roach has to be very happy. Justin
Big
Fortune.
smile on his face.
And the Filipino community here in Las Vegas cheering Manny Pacquiao for that great victory for the Filipino people.
Job well done.
Certainly.
He had a remarkable training camp, Canito.
Well, all throughout, Eric Morales was a dangerous opponent. At mamaya po, makakausap po natin si Manny Pacquiao sa ating pagbabalik. Pinakita mo ang lakas, Manny, pinakita mo ang lakas ng loob at puso ng Pilipino sa laban nato.
I told you before, I do my best in the ring, and para sa karangalan ng bansa at para sa karangalan ng pamilya ko. Hindi ko sinispeak na mapapagsak ko siya, pero God is great.
Manny, marami kang pinakita dito sa laban na hindi mo pinakita nung first fight, no? Ano-ano yon? Yung depensa mo, napakaganda. Yung footwork mo, tapos yung lakas nandun. Bumalik na naman.
Ngayon, medyo there's a lot of improvement to my right hands, and also the jab and then body shot. I am the right hand is he help big. He help a lot.
Kailan mo nakita, Manny, na medyo pabagsak dito si Morales? Kailan mo nakita na this fight was going to be yours?
When the 6 rounds is come up, and I saw him and I hit him to one punch to the body, and I saw him he's getting tired and he's stopping punching.
Manny, kasama din natin si Brian Viloria, isa din kampiyon natin. And Brian, I'm sure you want to congratulate Manny. Any questions for Manny, Brian?
The ball.
I got the ball. Anyways, I seen you training day in, day out, every day for the last time. What do you think contributed in your last training camp to help you in this fight? And what did you change?
It's absolutely it's great training camp, and there's a lot of strict to the gym and during my training time, and there's a lot of technique and improvement my right hand. So I would like to thank to my number one coach, Freddie Roach.
And this puts you in line to fight for the world title again against Marco Antonio Barrera. I mean, what do you think your chances again in this fight? I know you stopped in your first meeting with him. What about this time around?
The first time I do again those the first fight I put him. So maybe I right now I'm going back to the Philippines to check out some race in how many months.
I just want to say I'm so proud of you. I mean, as a fighter of my own, you display great heart, great strength.
Right. We train hard, right?
And we train hard. And thanks to Freddie and everybody in the gym.
Yeah, train hard and easy fight. So bring the ball.
I brought the ball.
Okay.
Manny, milyong Pilipino ang napanood ng laban nato, no? Marami sila sa SM, sa Rockwell, sa buong kapuluan. Ano naman ang masasabi mo sa kanila?
Hello mga kababayan ko. Unang-una, maraming salamat sa Panginoon. Pasalamat sa kanya dahil dahil binigyan niya ako ng malakas na katawan ngayon sa gabing ito at sa araw-araw. At maraming salamat po sa walang sawang pagsuporta nyo. Ako'y talagang hindi ko po maintindihan yung sarili ko, para akong naiyak dahil sa laki ng suporta ng mamamayang Pilipino, sa laki ng suporta sa akin sa pagdadasal, sa panalangin na ako'y manalo. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Sana lagi niyo po akong suportahan, at lalo na sa mahal na Pangulo. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, at sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat. God bless you all. Sana magkaintihan na po tayong lahat.
Manny, isa sa mga biggest supporters mo nandito ngayon sa dressing room, and I'd like to call on now the first gentleman, Attorney Mike Arroyo, and the President is on the line. The President is on the line.
You're on speakerphone. Hello?
Hello, Manny.
Ay, hello po.
Manny, congratulations.
Maraming salamat po, at talagang ako po'y taos pusong nagpapasalamat po sa walang sawang suporta ninyo, at lalo na kay First Gentleman na nandito siya po ngayon, at sa bayan ng Pilipino. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
Itong laban mo, Manny, ito ay simbolo ng umahamon ng Filipino spirit at ang ating bagong kumpiyansa na manalo against all odds. Congratulations, Manny. Talagang pinagmamalaki.
Ginawa ko pong lahat. Nag-training po ako ng mabuti para po hindi lang po sa karangalan. Ang hinahangad ko po ay hindi po sa karangalan ng sarili ko, sa karangalan ng pamilya ko, kundi kasama na po ang karangalan ng bansa po natin. At talagang ako'y dedicated talaga sa bansa natin, na sa bawat panalo ko ay ako'y masaya dahil nakakapagbigay ako ng karangalan sa bansa natin.
Okay.
Salamat sa ngalan ng buong sambayan ng Pilipino. Salamat sa karangalan mo sa ating bansa.
Tapos ako po yan masaya at nagpapasalamat dahil po kasama ko po si First Gentleman, at sa akin pong kumpare si Mikey, at sa lahat po ng mga government official nandito. Sumuporta po sila lahat sa akin. Si Lito Lapid, nandito po sila Mayor Atienza, si Chavit Singson. Marami pa po, Pontevilla, Nograles, at marami pa pong iba, at talagang Governor Hoson, at marami pa pong mga Pilipino galing ng Pilipinas para suportahan po, manood ng labang ko, at si Governor Henares.
Oo, talagang simbolo kasi yung iyong laban. Congratulations and more power.
Ako po hindi po ang tagumpay ko, hindi tagumpay ko lang, kundi tagumpay po nating lahat mga Pilipino at sa ating bansa.
Simbolo ka talaga ng Pilipinong lumalaban.
Maraming salamat po, ma'am, at sa lahat ng mga kababayan ko, maraming salamat. Talagang hindi lang ako ang masaya ngayon, kundi tayong lahat masaya dahil sa talagang 100% na suporta ng mga mamamayang Pilipino.
Salamat, Manny. Salamat.
Maraming salamat po.
Malaking
O mga kababayan, narinig po natin ang tinig ni Presidente mismo.
Okay.
And the first gentleman is right here.
Okay, amor. Te quiero mucho. Bye.
First gentleman, what can you feel about the excitement that this has generated for our Filipino nation?
I think that's the most exciting fight I've ever seen, and now that I know that the Philippines is so united in this thing, there's no politics here. Everybody's very happy, and congratulations to Manny.
Thank you very much, the first gentleman, for coming to Las Vegas and giving all-out support to Manny Pacquiao, and of course to our president for calling in and sending her congratulations. Manny, pagbalik mo sa atin, palagay ko malaking handa ang Pilipinong mamamayan. Everybody will be lining up the streets with Philippine flags. Isang parting shot galing sa iyo.
Sabi ko na makita ang minamahal kong bansa, ang mahal kong bansa, at sabi ko na makita ang mga kababayan kong Pilipino na ngayon ay nanonood at sumusuporta sa akin, at sa lahat ng mga kasama ko ngayon dito na mga Pilipino pumunta rito. Maraming salamat sa walang sawang pagsuporta, at lalo na sa HBO at sa ABS-CBN News, ABS-CBN sa suporta nila, at sa Solar Sports. Maraming salamat.
Mabuhay Manny Pacquiao! Mabuhay Pilipinas! Mabuhay Pilipinas!
Mabuhay Pilipinas!